Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Greenway trying to wrap around. He got double team. Mallenstein out in front. Here's a shot. They score! Matthias Samuelson through the crowd. Off the face-off, it comes to Owen Power. Walking down the slot. They score! Rasmus Dahlin again!
Jordan. He'll take it. He'll give him the lead. Timeout, San Antonio. And Mitch Johnson is livid to go here. Look at Holmgren and Wemby fighting. You know they want to go head-to-head. 1 and 2 in the Defensive Player of the Year this year. Yeah, to Bryant. One more. Champagny. Snaps down. A 3. Jose hammers it. Deep left field. Say goodnight. Jose is heating up, folks.
High fly ball, deep right center, Marshall back, track, wall, see ya! A 2-run home run, and the Yankees have tied the game at 5.
This is Rick down the left field line, stays there, into the corner, gone! Call it! Go ahead and call it right now! Javier Sanoja with a grand slam has made it 11-0 Miami here in the 5th.
Good morning. Welcome in Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Mail Medical. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. What's up, DB?
You know, same soup.
Soup?
Just reheat it.
I don't think you're the reheating soup type of guy.
No, I don't even like soup.
You don't seem like a big soup guy to me.
No, I like a couple.
Egg drop?
No. Wow.
The egg drop's good.
It's okay.
I like
the
egg
problem
drop.
is it's cold after like 7 milliseconds.
You gotta eat it faster. Get in there.
No. Are you supposed to drink that when they give you those big old ladles?
I think you're. I don't really know.
I don't know. I don't see people of in that part of the country use spoons. I see people more drink directly out of the.
Oh, you mean like traditionally, like in China?
Yes.
Like when you're. I don't know. That's a good question. I do see like the big ladle spoons though, instead of just.
I think that's for the green onion and.
Oh, like the wonton soup.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Maybe
it's very awkward.
It
might be to stir. I think it's to drink.
I usually just use a regular old Western spoon.
Are you out on just drinking out of the bowl?
I will at the bottom, the very bottom.
Please tell me you're not a slurper.
No, I'm not gonna slurp. I'm not a child, but in that area, I'm not a child.
All right, just
but
sure.
You get to the bottom of the bowl, it's too much work to try and get the spoon it out of there.
Yeah, I'm probably, I'm not a traditional soup guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I would rock with like clam chowder.
Oh, I do like clam chowder.
Lobster bisque.
Ooh, I like lobster bisque too. Good clam chowder is incredible.
On a once every 7 years, maybe a like bacon and potato soup.
Ooh, I've had a baked potato soup before.
Probably more cream than I am broth.
Yeah, I see that. I think,
but I'm not. I can't remember. Like sometimes I'll get a soup, and it's strictly for show. Would you like ginger salad or would you like soup? And I certainly don't want the ginger salad. Although the sesame vinaigrette is worth separate, but I don't need to consume ginger in bulk.
So you'll just order the soup with no intention of eating it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm out on redheads.
I am a big egg drop guy. I like egg drop soup.
Yeah, it's okay.
I know this is not traditional and they always look at me funny when I do it.
I look at you funny anyway.
I like to put a little rice in the egg drop to thicken it up a little bit.
Oh yeah. Big thick guy.
Yeah, you got to thicken it up a little bit.
Oh, that doesn't even remotely sound like it goes together.
It's good.
I
mean, if you don't like egg drop soup to start, it's probably
It's thick.
Huh?
It's thick.
You're such a whiny wiener. It's thick.
Good morning. Wyatt says ginger soup.
Yeah.
Salad.
Was that Heath? That was one of the.
Yeah, he's like, don't hit him with the ER, but the A is
so
okay.
that was one of the funnier deals. It's okay. Like, I'm not gonna. I think it's kind of a waste.
The soup?
Why wouldn't I just ask for no soup? Because, Sasha, why would I? I'm either going to waste the salad or the soup.
So why do you make him bring it at all?
Because I'm paying for it.
Yeah, but if you're not eating it, what's the difference?
So I feel better emotionally
Okay.
if it's in front of me and I have the option to waste my money rather than just paying for it and you don't give me anything. Somebody at the table may want what I have.
Is Zoe a big soup person?
Zoe does like soup.
There you go. Get some egg drop for Zoe.
She went through a phase. Was it egg drop or miso?
Egg drop top?
She'll try anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she can rank crab rangoon around the city. She likes sushi. She likes Indian. She messes with Greek. Big kava person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on that kava train lately.
She can parse through. She told me the other day I got the wrong pita.
And
I know what she's talking about.
Like at the store?
Yeah. She said, do you see the train tracks on the bottom? It needs color. All right. Don't get the pita that. See, she doesn't like anything dark. So I refrain. Like, I have to be very delicate with the cheese. And, she picks up. It's
because she
thinks
it's burnt or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went with the pita that looked all the same complexion, color, if you will. No, she's a big train tracks person.
Well,
likes the dark bottom. Yeah, but then she's picky about the naan.
Doesn't like the crispy on the naan.
She can eat it. Oh my goodness! Speak of the devil. Come here, princess. What in the world? Why is she here? What? Come here, nerd face. Wait, did you hear me talking about you? Come here.
We were talking about soup.
Here. All right. You want to wear these? They can't hear you. Do you want to wear them? I like your glasses this morning. You want to wear them? All right. You can have Ravi.
All right. Can you hear me, Zoe?
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind of soup?
Why do you have a? I don't know.
Do you like egg drop soup from Chinese restaurants? No. Do you like clam chowder?
Do you like tomato soup?
Yes.
Do you get the grilled cheese sandwiches and dip them in the tomato soup? What are you doing here, DB?
She's her own child. Hey, tell him what's on the pita that you like.
Yeah, what was wrong with the pitas that he got?
The bad pita.
I had both of them were smooth.
They were too smooth. No.
What do you like? What do you like to have to look on the bottom? You're gonna have.
They have brown spots.
Yeah.
Well, that means they're cooked right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Tell Ravi about Daddy's baseball.
Oh, he looks like Michael Jackson. He did.
Oh, when he was trying not to get hit by the pitch.
Yeah.
He's not as good of a dancer though, is he? No.
Do you want to hit the scuba?
No.
Come on, Zoe, give us a little scuba.
No.
Wait, I got one more question. Did you understand what the guy was asking for at the gas station?
No.
Was that kind of weird?
I was confused.
Was that the ice guy? Yeah. Oh yeah.
How much money did you make at the baseball game?
$7.
How did you get $7?
Because I went to the concession stand to get 3 Gatorades and 1 water. Okay, I'm done.
See you, Zoe.
I love you. Bye. I like your outfit.
I thought she was wearing a tennis fit for a second. I was like, all right, we're on it, but no.
Isn't she wild?
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand why she keeps coming here.
I still don't understand how she made money on that transaction at the baseball game, or if she just didn't give you your change back and she's like, I made
she put the change in my baseball bag. Okay. Although she spent it yesterday to get sunflower seeds. And then they told her.
So I forgot they were kind of strict yesterday at state baseball.
Oh, were they about bringing stuff in?
So did
you go to Warner or Tao?
I was at Tao.
Okay.
So the two gentlemen were like, hey, just put them in your pocket. the lady in the raincoat who I was actually nice to, I was like, oh, one smart one out of the bunch. You actually got rain gear. Didn't work. 2 seconds later, it was, yeah, you're going to have to leave those seeds with me, sir. They don't like those. I was like, wait, but he said I could, but I didn't want to do that. So I literally set 2.5 bags of new seeds on the bottom of the stairs where you walk in.
Yeah.
Watched 7 innings and
went back, picked them up.
Yep. Because we wanted to beat the rain because I was bad dad that she didn't wear tennis shoes. She wore her slides.
Oh, yeah.
Socks. And I didn't bring an umbrella. No, she was dressed correctly. But I didn't know Austin was working. I didn't know he was there.
Yeah.
So he came down and he was like giving me the weather updates because if she would have got wet, her mom would have had a fit. So I was like, we were our P's and Q's.
Super happy.
Yeah, she would not have been super happy. She'd have been like, well, I told you to grab an umbrella. But yeah, so she's, I don't know, man. She's like going through a dad stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm mad at her though. She can't work with me though. I can't believe how she acts all gun shy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she runs her cake hole constantly at home.
Dude, a lot of people do that. I mean, I know she's a kid, but a lot of times you put the mic in front of them and they just freeze.
Yeah, she like you give her a second though, it'll be I mean, another minute and she would have sat down and held court. Dead dog serious. She'd tell you how to win the claw game.
Oh, well, I mean, she's the expert apparently.
Yeah. So Caleb, we were eating last night and he has this weird affinity for Coach Snow.
Okay.
And I think Coach Snow really likes him. Right. I just think they connect and Caleb goes, he goes, what time is he on? And I said, I don't know, probably about 8:30. He goes, man, I might have to pop in for that. I go, of all the times I've asked you to do stuff with me, you like, no, but Coach Snow, and you may have to pop in. I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield at my house. No respect.
Can't get no respect.
I mean, zip, man. Zip. Nah, but he may stop in.
All right, let's do it.
He said, "Can I call in? I got a couple questions for him." I said, "I don't know, man.
You need to send him a link.
You need to ask Sasha about that whole porta number thing. I almost said porta potty.
Different thing. Yeah, we could send him a link if you want to.
I'm not interested in a family affair this morning. We already had one ding dong.
I'm just saying, I can send him to him right now if you want me to.
Yeah, he's going to check in here in a second. I think he wanted to work out first.
Yeah.
Well, they've got a good workout group.
Yeah, it's got a good schedule going.
Well, it's high level dudes.
Yeah,
so that helps. You know,
got to be in the people of like similar but competitive, and you want a couple people who are a little better than you, and
yeah,
it's a good group.
Yeah, and you need you can't. It's not like when you're little and we can double over and play center and then play nose and give you a look. Like you have to be. Yeah, a certain caliber, it don't work.
Yeah,
you're probably getting worse. Kind of like Wemby seeing OKC last night. God, you're a fanboy. You guys fanboying over Wemby was making me nauseous.
I hardly said anything about it last night.
I was very proud of you.
I was laying out. I was just trying to watch the game.
Jacob had some juice.
Yeah, he was a little spicy. Maybe he's finally feeling better.
He's like a different person. And I was super cool to him yesterday. I was like, Jacob.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, good to see you. He's good. Hey, DB. All right, man. Cool. All right. Guess I'll holler at you later.
That's a pretty standard Jacob response, though.
Ah, man. I feel like we're boys.
Hey, what's up?
But according to KJ, he's like, the only people I like are the people that are mean to me. Which I laughed.
It's a little true,
but not really.
I've made that observation before, where I think
I'll get. It's probably just it's a defense mechanism, right? Because if I kill you with kindness, then you probably won't be mean to me. I think I used to think that. Now I don't know if I'm moved enough. If you don't like me,
I think being mean to you and not liking
God, my ankles are ashy. That is El Horrible.
Being mean to you and not liking you are not the same thing.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because I'm mean to you all the time and I like you plenty.
Yeah, I don't have the juice to argue that because that's probably right.
Yeah, so I think you actually gravitate towards.
Do you like my pants?
They're sweatpants.
Hey, you guys can't see these. I'm not kidding you. These are They don't have a label.
Okay.
They got no drawstring.
Yep.
I got them from Kohl's.
Okay.
In like 2018.
Okay.
They're like, they don't have a name.
Yeah, they're just like brandless.
Yeah, and I was like, it's kind of cold. I think I may be outside a lot. But I didn't want anything that tapered at the ankle because then I would have had to wear not ankle socks because I didn't want the wind to hit my skin.
Yeah.
So these are as good as I could come up with.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, these things are from like the 90s.
I mean, not quite.
Bro, they don't have a name in there. They don't even have a drawstring. I'm like, who? These had, I must have got these for like $8. Well, that's back when I used to use Kohl's bucks or something.
You paid more than that. You gotta be careful. No drawstring, that's tough.
Yeah, none. Listen, so I got dressed in the dark. Your boy, look, I pulled the band out.
Yeah. Oh, there's not even holes for a drawstring.
No. I'm like, are these reversible? Could I wear these backwards and be cool? Like,
those might be like pajama pants, DB.
No, man.
What do you mean?
Yeah, a lot of times the ones without drawstrings are pajama pants. They're like they're like lounge wear. So you're like for the house.
Thanks, Juan. That's awful kind. You said I don't even think Juan could see. Nobody cares about my pants. I'm just saying, like. And then because I didn't really look at myself, and I was like, "Is this too much gray?"
No, you got the black to break it up. You're good.
Yeah, I saw my guy this weekend.
Oh yeah, Les.
Yeah,
that's nice. He did that on a Carhartt for you. That's nice.
And it's thin too, so it's just
like
enough,
warm but thin.
Yeah, like I won't be all, ooh, I'm cold, but I feel free. What?
You don't like having the bulky stuff on?
I'm probably team bulk, but people make fun of me because my clothes don't fit.
That's not very nice of them.
Yeah, you're the king of it.
I don't make fun of you for your clothes.
You don't make 3X and 4X jokes?
Oh, just the one. It's because you literally okay.
We don't have to get into it if you don't like to.
I would like to get into it because
you like to be mean.
No, because you literally it doesn't fit though. It's not like
I don't know if I'm coaching or chilling, like I don't really, as long as it's not too small.
Yeah,
I don't care.
It's more that I think
those quarter zips like with no sleeves that look like dresses. I wear those out.
Yeah.
I'm sure people look at me like this dude looks like a red or gray or black Christmas tree. I don't give a what.
It's funny to me because I know what the person looks like that was intended for.
Oh yeah, you do know him.
Like, and so like the size difference is amusing to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like that makes sense for him. And then it looks like you're wearing that like a little kid. You stole something from your dad.
I don't steal like you. I have a dog treat.
That's what Zoe was about to ask. She's like, why do you have a dog? Never mind.
Because, that's what she was talking about?
Yeah.
So I've been training the dogs to go through the dog door.
Oh, okay.
But they don't need it anymore. They just know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
you just pocketed that one?
Yeah. And I was going to put Biggie in the kennel, but I'm like, he should be fine.
Yeah, he's just chilling.
So you want it?
No, I'm good. I used to do that when
I'll give you $5. So I get these from Rotella's. Yeah, and I know I fingered it, so it's probably you're like, oh, it's been on your hands on the table, but
yeah, that's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about the fact that it's a dog treat.
No, these are like out of their bakery. This is the chicken apple soft chew.
Yeah, I don't want a cookie that tastes like chicken apple.
It's for the dogs.
I know. That's why I'm not going to eat it because it's for dogs.
You don't want to try it?
Oh, smell it though. Can I smell it?
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's too hard.
No, it's not. Don't break it because I'm going to give it to him later. Tell me that doesn't smell good.
It actually doesn't smell terrible.
Hey, Mel Gibson, Matt Road Warrior, he ate dog food. Didn't he, Shane? Right out of the can.
I think he ate it in Lethal Weapon too.
Yeah.
Maybe he has a thing for dog. He didn't. Why did he have to do that in Lethal Weapon?
I think in the third one.
I never saw any of those, but I do know it's the Glover guy, and I know it's not Rich. It's stop. It's
He did it. He did it to quit smoking.
Pardon?
He ate dog treats to quit smoking.
Yeah, he's like, I need a cigarette, and Danny Glover was like, here, have a dog. Here, have a dog biscuit. I just saw the movie like 3 weeks ago.
Why?
Because it was just on.
So they have 3 lethal weapons?
They have 4.
I think there's more. Yeah, there's more than 3.
When the funny thing about this, you want to know how stupid and
this is the most Damon thing ever, but in high school, they only had 2 lethal weapons.
Yeah.
So on my Letterman's coat, because I wore number 3, and I thought I was a lethal weapon, so I dubbed myself Lethal Weapon 3 on my coat, and it said Mr. Metro. It might have been the thing ever in hindsight, which is why it now stays in the closet. Glad I outgrew that. Is that funny?
A little, yeah.
You're an idiot.
Listen,
I try to share my thoughts, my most inner thoughts. I used to think I was going to be Darian Hagan.
Colorado?
Yep. In high school.
It's a weird move.
I loved him.
Big Colorado guy, huh?
I was a big Darian Hagan guy.
Big Colorado guy, huh?
I thought he looked like me. You know, I had like, even as a kid, like I had black facial blindness.
See, it happens. Many
No,
of us.
mine was different. I knew what people looked like. I just wasn't sure on the ethnicity. Like I did think Pedro Guerrero was not Dominican. I wonder if I would have liked him if I would have ever heard him talk. I'd have been like, ooh, I don't want to be like that.
What's wrong with the English as a second language?
I struggled enough with people making fun of the way I talk.
I certainly wasn't going to complicate matters any with a dialect.
Yeah, all right.
Do you know, yes, TK, I'm going to use the word. Do you know how traumatizing it was growing up being called the Huxtables?
Oh, because you talked to like.
Don't say, it was proper grammar.
I was going to say properly.
If you would have said something else, I'd have been like, is that only exclusive to those
I
people?
was going to say well or properly, but I wasn't sure which one to go with.
He's so well spoken.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, he's so articulate.
Okay.
That's the other one that they always hit
No,
you
but
with.
I was doing my own joke.
Oh,
you don't
okay.
have to pile on.
Well, I thought we were collaborating here. Thought we were partners. Like in Lethal Weapon.
That's not nice.
Lethal Weapon 5. Here we are.
No.
No?
That's so buddy cop right there. But that's what those movies are.
Why you
Look, see? Shane gets it. Shane seems like a big buddy cop movie guy.
I need to phone a friend.
Not so much.
I do.
Maybe in the
I need
80s.
some help. That would be like me saying,
What?
I just don't think you should be able to say that.
Say what? Oh, they're so articulate.
That would be like me saying, like if I
Go ahead.
If I saw you and you answered customer service and then you talk like you normally talk, I'd be like, oh, that's different.
Oh no, people do that a lot. Like when I worked in corporate America and like was on the phone.
Do you realize, can I just say this?
Yeah.
That actually makes me mad.
That people used to do that?
No, if I need help and I can't understand what's being said, I will intentionally hang up the phone. I will try again.
Makes you feel better, it makes me mad too.
I'm like, how does this work?
It's like I'm Indian, but I still can't understand you. So could you help me out here, brother?
I just want to fix my password on my banking app. Can you guys help me?
My biggest help me. My biggest issue is
So you don't look at you and they're like, oh, that's not what I thought.
Well, yeah, I don't. I mean, that is what it is. It's whatever.
That's funny. We should play the phone game and then be like, guess what they look like? Like, ooh, that ain't it.
People do that with us, or like with me. They used to all the time.
Yeah,
like,
I told you when I showed my mom your picture.
Yeah,
like when you were super yoked lifting.
Yeah,
and she goes, "Oh my gosh, that's not what I thought he looked like."
Yeah, a lot of people were like, "I did not see that coming." But the one that annoys,
while we're stereotyping,
the one that annoys me the most, you don't have a lot of like jacked Indian guys running around. There's a very
what is it? Because
it's a very similar. I think it's a protein issue.
I was gonna say that. Thank you. I just wondered if you guys were protein deficient.
I
don't mean you guys.
No, but like the continent, you know, they're very. A lot of them are vegetarian, so I think there might be a protein issue. It's a religious thing, you know.
So you guys aren't hip on the whole plant-based protein thing?
Well, you know, we already got yelled at for all the GMOs, so we're like, oh, maybe we'll chill on that for a second.
Couldn't engineer any protein.
I don't know if like pea protein's a big priority over in India.
Dude, how many peas would you got to eat to get your macros in?
I also think that
peas don't have protein.
No, they make some of the powders they make are out of pea protein.
You're talking about PEA?
Yeah, not like urine. No, that'd be terrible. Although there is urine in your protein,
Here,
but only if you're not.
I'm gonna practice something.
Only
with
if you're
you.
ill.
If I divulge something and I get it out of the way, it's okay if you don't expound. Like once I said PEA,
Yeah.
it's just for clarity. Like it doesn't need a follow-up.
I know, but then in my head, it's funny that the possibility that you're like, are they making protein out of pee? Like urine? That's funny to me.
Wait, what? Like pee?
I don't know who had that drop ready, but that's funny. Well done.
Like sometimes I just want to have the show.
You want to talk about Wemby?
Oh God.
It's the biggest thing that happened last night.
It was a fantastic game. I'm not even gonna hold you. It was the game was sensational.
No, it was
I was busy. I was cheering for. This is weird how I rock with some of my peers. I was quietly cheering for Brunts. I thought he was going to get to see a no-no.
Oh, yeah.
And then not only did he not throw the no-no, the 2-run bomb walk-off is all she wrote. I was like, damn, that would suck.
That's tough. You go from like the emotions of.
That's worse than a bunt single breaking up the no-no.
100%. 100%.
So I was cheering. I was kind of all over the place. Plus, I told one of our,
You don't look anything like Darian Hagan, by the way.
Oh, I meant little and black and wore number 3.
Oh,
that
okay.
was like, plus he didn't age well. He's puffy.
I tried to find like a college picture of him. I still don't think you look like him.
I just wanted to play like him. I didn't want to look like him.
All right. Just making sure.
I can't. No, I'm not going to say that. Maybe somebody's physique, but I've never like thought to myself, ooh, I would like to look like that guy.
Oh, yeah, I got you.
Like maybe their build, but not their face.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's good. That's confidence. That's good.
No, I just feel like I didn't know that many good looking black people. I don't know. I look at, never mind.
So Wemby,
been stepping on it lately.
You know what my takeaway from that game was actually? I actually think the Thunder are going to win the series now.
Because of the Spurs winning game 1?
Well, because of what it looked like.
Although I'm going to tell you, it will be hard. Shea will have to work extremely hard. He will give you nothing.
Yeah, Harper and Castle defensively are a lot.
Dude, Harper playing 40-some minutes looks like De'Aaron who?
I do think they need De'Aaron Fox, though.
Listen, I'm sure they do. I'm not that guy that's like,
I think they
didn't,
they won without him. They don't need him. They're better without.
I'm not doing that. Like
my thing with Fox was, and the reason I think the Thunder are going to win this series is I don't think that Harper and Castle are ready or good enough at this point to take on the offensive load as lead guards.
Because we saw what happened against Minnesota where they would have these droughts.
Well, we saw it last night with Castle's turnovers.
Yeah.
And then even Harper, who didn't have, I think he only had a couple, there were times where he was kicking the ball all over the place and looked super uncomfortable. Now, I appreciate his confidence to stick with it and have some really big plays down the stretch anyway.
He's such a better offensive player than I thought he was going to be at this point.
I 100% agree.
Remember all he used to do is dunk?
He's so what I liked about him, though, is when he started showing that mid-range game at Rutgers.
Yeah.
When he would get that kind of one-two
No, I'm talking
pull-up.
about Castle.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, your boy's a bucket.
Yeah, Harper was really good at Rutgers.
He gets buckets. I don't worry about him at all.
I wasn't sure what
he was putting folks in the blender last night. Like he acted like a big guard.
He did. I did think he got sped up sometimes and kind of kicked it around a little bit.
Well, he's loosey-goosey.
Yeah, and I don't think that long-term in the series is going to – I don't think they have enough margin for error offensively for that to be a thing because, Wemby's not going to go for 40 every night. And I do think the offensive guards for – obviously with Shea, but even like Caruso and
hey, playoff Caruso's a mother, ain't he?
Caruso's a really good basketball player.
He is.
He's one of those dudes that, when I'm talking about, is he good at basketball or not? Like, you can give me a lot of guys that might have better skill sets. You're not going to find a lot of guys.
He's pretty legit.
You're not going to find a ton of guys that have like a higher impact on winning.
You know,
Yeah,
got a good handle.
but he's one of those guys. He's never going to be the number one option.
Yeah,
offensively. And there's guys that are just not going to lead to winning basketball the way he does.
I used to work with his uncle over at North.
Caruso's uncle?
Vipon, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good dude. They look the same.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
just older.
Between like AJ Williams or AJ Mitchell, sorry. AJ Mitchell and Jalen Williams. And like, I think there's too much.
The whole Williams Mitchell thing got you?
No, I was going to say Jalen Williams right
Johnson?
after. And I got that's Mitch Johnson or
Jackson.
Keldon Johnson. I'm sorry, miss. I just think they've
back to the old coded language thing.
I think they've just you're so well spoken.
Well, again, once I go there, it's cool if you don't. That was only like a 7, though. I mean, usually you jump right to 10.
I mean, it's more fun if I do, though. That's
according to who?
Well, for me.
Huh. Austin, are you listening? I have one quick question for Austin before I...
Yeah, he's in.
Yes, Queen.
Oh, God. So, jeez, he throws me off my game. AJ, at what point did you think Central City was in trouble yesterday?
You mean when they were down 4-0 at the bottom of the first inning?
Well, they were down.
Pretty good.
Yeah, 5-0-2 through 5.
Right. I actually thought it
once
was.
They got it tied. He was at Central City.
Mm-hmm.
Truthfully, it was when Peters took it at where was he in his count? It wasn't before. It was before it got to the full count because I actually thought he was in control of that at bat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think he took a pitch that was a strike, and you could tell that I think it was Ethan Sigmund that was on the mound for Mount Michael. He took control there, and then when the break came, I didn't feel very confident in Peters taking either 1 or 2 pitches from there to get on base and not send it into extras. So
Zoe saw the lightning and she said, "Yep, it's time to go." I kept inching my way towards the gate, and she disappeared for like 3 minutes, and she ran all the way back over where Brett was. And I didn't want to panic because Suits was standing right next to me, and I got caught up talking because Lincoln Luth they played right after, and so I was talking to Kevin. And I was like, don't panic. Don't panic. It's a public place. She knows where I was last standing. Okay, where is this girl? So it's like 3 minutes went by, and this lady is like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, oh, just being a bad dad, looking for my daughter. She's like, oh, that's so cute. So I looked way towards the foul pole on the side, and I found her, and I like waved her over, and we're walking out, and the lady goes, oh, I see you found her. I heard you saying you didn't bring an umbrella or good shoes. Gosh, you're failing.
Wow, that's aggressive.
I was like, oh, that's a good memory, or were you just eavesdropping? That's what I was saying in my head, but of course I got to eat it. But I think she heard me talking to Kevin.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Suits knew that I was. Oh, he is a little guy.
I'll say he's leaned up a lot.
Fudge.
Yeah.
I was like,
I saw him I think the last time I saw him in person was late fall at the volleyball awards at the bar. And like he was lean.
Dude, his scouting reports are sensational. And listen, and don't let him fool you. He's not afraid to put on a tinfoil hat either.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about wild card points. Like he's very, very well versed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. People talk about canceling college baseball games. My man understands wild card points. Smart dude. I was like, dang. But he's so kind.
Yeah,
it's like I don't think he gets in the weeds like that. No, he's
comes off very unassuming, like he maybe doesn't stay dialed. But
yeah, he might be a secret throat slitter. I'm telling you, guys are that night. Like that's what happens.
He's got a little bit of that curry in him, where it's like, oh, he looks so nice. Gone.
You wake up,
like, where's my kidney?
Yeah. Big one eye open, dude. So AJ, are we going rolling starts at 9?
I haven't looked yet. Sorry. I think I need to. Yeah,
because all we have right now is Game Changer, right? Because Any Scores doesn't do baseball.
Mm-mm.
What do you mean? Sorry, I didn't.
Like following
the
along.
Game Changer app is the only way we.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Is
Because
that
I got to do state soccer today, so I'm going to be out at Morrison to finish those out.
when are you leaving?
I'll wrap up the post-show stuff here, and then I need to get a workout in because I'm thick. And then after that, I'll get a haircut, go to Morrison.
You're what?
Oh, you've never been dummy thick before?
Oh God.
Looks like we don't start till 4 today.
Thick.
At least for A. I'm just on Class A. Let me look at B.
So the weather's gonna hold because they.
So B, we've got a 10 a.m. start for Gross and Gretna East.
And they're at Fricky, right?
I think they're at Papio South.
So why did Papio South get the site?
They've been flipping those
Because
the past couple of days.
I went there yesterday to watch Central City, and all of a sudden Papio South was taking BP, and I was like, "Oh God."
I don't have anybody at Papio South
I
today.
think they're at home. I think they're playing at Tal, and so he goes, "What is wrong with you?"
It looks like the only games. Looks like Class C are the only games at Tal. Everything else is at Warner today.
Yeah, it looks like we only have 6 games today. So like all classes. So that's
Maybe
kind of nice.
they needed to get extra games in yesterday, so they rolled over. Some extra games. I don't know.
Well, they actually weren't even extra games. Those were just the schedule.
That's the schedule. Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Because yesterday or Thursday's the only built-in.
Rain day.
Quote unquote extra day.
Yeah. Okay.
I have that right, Jimmy Neutron?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looks like Werner is full from 10 to 7, basically, and then 4 and 7 at Tal for Class C. So Central City goes at 4 p.m. or Central City Central City goes at 4 at Tal.
These are all really good games.
Are you pretty?
Well, it's so wide open.
Yeah, you got West Side and Millard South at Werner in Class A, and then Grand Island, Papio South at 7 for Class A.
I wanted to stick around and watch Papio South take BP, but I was up against it because I pulled up to Papio South at like
2:10, 2:20 maybe, because I got Zoe out of school early. Bad dad. After bringing her lunch. She's like, well, the electronic menu wasn't right. It didn't do what it said. When I got there, it wasn't good. I was like, taking advantage of old dad's schedule, huh?
Anyway.
Phantom Husker says Ravi's the Tom Pete of Millard North baseball.
Dude, you can't take Phantom anywhere. He's kind of naughty.
We were focusing on the football team last year, Phantom. We're gonna try and get on the baseball team.
I gotta know, is he like are you like that with your clients? There's no way.
What kind of client? Is he a lawyer?
I'm not gonna dox him, but
you gotta tell me where he works, but like the field, I feel like is general enough.
I think he works with
people that have pretty decent financial wherewithal.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
But
does he give you remotely that impression?
I mean, do I give you the impression that I used to work in financial risk management and fraud solutions?
Oh, that's probably that's a good point.
Yeah, it's just sometimes people. I will say I was like always the black sheep in those departments, though. That's a very like introverted field. A lot of like data analysis and stuff like that, and most of those people are just like wired. And yeah, I was an outlier in that those particular.
Corn Raider, did she have scissors to cut open those vacuum sealed? We have 3 pair of scissors. 2 are very sharp. They are for vacuum sealed bags specifically.
Yeah.
The other one I sometimes just use to trim fat when I don't really get my other knife. Funny Corn Raider, but I actually am.
I always think it's super funny. Look, I know it's a valid way. Like, I always think it's funny when people cut meat of any kind with scissors. It just looks so goofy to me.
Yeah, I
don't cut meat.
I used to really think that was weird.
Yeah,
and I never wanted to get the blades wet to clean them, and sometimes I would like trim thighs with scissors because it's quicker than bigger pieces of meat with like a fillet knife or something. And then I was like, forget it.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that I could put these in the dishwasher. Big cross contaminant guy.
Yeah, it's important. You guys stay safe out there.
Can I ask you a question philosophically, or do you want to take a quick break? I want to ask you about. I'm torn on a mental health issue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's take a quick break.
I think it's being manipulated, and if it is, shame on them.
Is this the Sorsby thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about it because I have strong feelings about this. Yeah, I have some strong feelings about this.
I was floored yesterday.
I wasn't, but I was like
I was. If you're gonna make
yeah.
All right. I'm just curious.
No, we'll get into it. Coming up on the show today, we've got Phil Snow at 8:30, and then we've got Luke Fox at 9:30 to talk a little hockey from Sportsnet. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time for Stars, Stripes, and Savings at Edwards Nissan. Lease the 2026 Nissan Rogue Platinum starting at $349 a month. A platinum lease for less this May. 2 Nissans, 2 great deals. Only at Edwards. We've also got the 2026 Nissan Pathfinder SV starting at $399 a month. Another win for May. Don't wait. Get in on Stars, Stripes, and Savings this May at Edwards Nissan.
All right, Coach, bottom of the 8th, your team steps up in a big moment. What was going through your head as your team was down just those final runs?
We knew it would be tough, but once we got 2 guys on, and then before the kid that got the hit, Josh Snodgrass, come on, Josh. I told him just go up there and swing the bat, Josh, right?
Sir.
Didn't I?
Sir.
Just don't have to hit it hard, just go swing it, and you got the job done.
Sir.
This is my pet right here.
So, Coach, what's your confidence in Josh as he steps up in that moment?
He's a sophomore. We had confidence in him. We've had confidence in him all year. He has been a little bit of a slump, but he's the guy we wanted there, and he got it done. There's no bigger guy than this big guy right here.
What's it mean to keep this run going, especially
it's good.
Facing elimination?
It's good because we get to play another game.
Sir.
One day at a time, another game. I hope we can keep going.
Josh, for you, how does it feel knowing that you get your coach a little bit of a longer tenure here?
It's awesome. We've never been to state before, like in my time here, so it's just great to have this experience and stuff like that. It's just awesome.
Outdoors has been a little rougher than indoors. I was able to jump almost every meet indoors, but outdoors I've pulled out of quite a few just because I've been battling some injuries, but we're finally on the backside of that and we're doing a lot better, so that's a good thing for me.
You speak of battling some injuries.
Yeah.
That last jump trying to go over 7'3", tweaks a little something. How's that?
Yeah, it's actually, it feels a lot better now. Did not feel good right when it happened, but about 30 seconds later I was like, okay, it's good, but I don't want to keep jumping because, I got regionals coming up and, he's more deserving. Not more deserving, but he's very deserving. So, I mean, I'm glad he worked hard for it, and it was a great comp. I love jumping with everybody, especially battling some conditions. It was a lot of fun.
It's time for Stars, Stripes, and Savings at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage EX starting at $259 a month. A great lease to kick off May. 2 Kias, 2 reasons to celebrate. Only at Edwards Kia. We've also got the 2026 Kia K4 GT starting at $239 a month. Don't wait. Get in on Stars, Stripes, and Savings this May at Edwards Kia.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. As I mentioned, we'll talk to Phil Snow here in a little bit, but I did want to get to your philosophical question about Brennan Sorsby here, because I was reading some of this stuff yesterday about, the affidavit and suing the NCAA to get his eligibility back, and
that alone takes some stones.
Yeah, it really does. It really, really does.
I'm reading this, and I'm listening to or reading his admissions, and then why he did it, and I'm like, wow, man, like this seems like a reach in every level for people that may actually have a problem.
Mm-hmm. And listen, I don't doubt that he actually has a problem.
I agree with that.
Because the number of bets we're talking about is insane.
And then the varying degrees of what.
Mm-hmm.
But did you read the part where he said, in order to feel more connected to a team that he wasn't contributing for, he felt like betting on them, like bridge the gap.
Yeah, my bullshit detector went off real hard.
So I'm like, one. Okay, I was almost done.
I'm out. Like that's, first of all, here's the thing. There's a couple, the only thing that's almost ever worked in these situations to get you out of trouble is contrition, right?
That
being like, hey,
position of humility.
This was a mistake. It's not something I do anymore. I was really young. I didn't understand the rules because I wasn't really contributing on the team. It didn't connect with me that I wasn't allowed to do this. Like, I'm sorry. I was young and stupid and I won't ever do it again. Right. That's basically the only way anyone's ever gotten out of these types of situations, whether it's steroids, whether it's gambling, whatever it is. Right. Like we treat Andy Pettit very differently than we treat Roger Clemens.
Correct.
Right. Like
Alex Rodriguez, we
treat very differently than like
Rafael Palmeiro.
Yes, like contrition. I'm sorry, I was stupid. I didn't know. Like that's the only thing that gets you out of this.
Tim is on a roll. No pun intended.
To double down, and just say, no, I actually did this because of how much I love the team and how much I wanted to feel connected to them. First of all, is insane logic. Like it just doesn't. Like that's insanity. Second, it doesn't acknowledge the fact, because the other thing that actually I think could have gotten him out of this, especially since he already went to rehab, is, hey, I have a gambling addiction. I'd like to be able to be an advocate for other people that have a gambling addiction. And I think the best way for me to do that is to show that you can come back from it and contribute in a positive way to a team.
So here's the thing, though. Like, and I don't know about, I'm not going to talk about whether the NCAA, it would be a horrible look for the NCAA to cave. Like, I think they have to double down and let this thing go to court. Now,
I don't think the NCAA will cave. I am worried about the court, especially with the judge.
So TK, from a lawyering standpoint, with all the different things that he listed, do they just have to get a ruling on one of those things? Because there are like 7 things in there. It's like, I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to put this out there. But to say that the NCAA has turned their back
because of his choices, and it's supposed to be about the student athletes. I don't know if I've heard a more disingenuous argument.
No, it's nonsense. I think the only thing the court actually has to rule on is
because there's so many pieces. Can he win one of those one of those alleged mishaps on what it's done to him?
So I think I might be misunderstanding, but I think a lot of that part is sort of the public perception PR of it. I think the only thing the court actually can rule on.
Come on, Kobe.
I think the only thing the court can actually rule on is whether or not the NCAA is illegally keeping him from making money.
Yeah, he broke the rules, though.
Right. But what we've seen, because the NCAA's rules have been just tattered from lawsuits.
What's the difference between he and Deckers?
I don't think there is one. I can't remember. Did Deckers bet on his own team?
Never reinstated, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean there is none. I couldn't remember if he bet on
Deckers
his own
is playing
team.
in like the UFL.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if he bet on his own team or not as well. Sorsby's about one of the worst ones we've seen in terms of like the number of bets and having actually bet on his own team. I don't see a path forward unless I don't love that the judge is out there with the mascot with the guns up and stuff like that, or pictures on Twitter. So I don't feel great about that in terms of.
Well, we saw that happen.
Yeah, we saw it in Mississippi. We've seen it in Alabama.
We've seen it in Oxford.
Like or with Bediaku in Alabama too. Like I don't feel great about how this is going to go with the judge. But if there is any sort, I'm sure there's going to be an appeal. But if there's any sort of logic applied to this situation, you can't allow somebody that's betting on their sport to continue playing.
TK, it will likely be a totality of the circumstances analysis that the court will consider everything. That is only if the court says that the NCAA rules against betting is legal. That can't be, though. That's only if the court says that the NCAA rules against betting are legal.
So the argument to me would be like there are companies, right?
Yeah.
That will drug test for drugs that are legal in certain areas.
These dudes are killing me.
That I believe get held up. I don't know how often they've been challenged, but that would be because you can't compare this to other leagues because other leagues are collectively bargained. They have the antitrust exemption.
We're talking collegiate.
So you
athletics.
have to compare this to like workplaces that don't have antitrust protection from the United States government.
Anything that isn't basically unionized.
Yes, right. So I have to take this to like a normal workplace to be like, okay, are there rules in place that you can't do things that are legal to do in your workplace?
Let me ask you something. What's the difference between testing positive for the NCAA for marijuana in states that have legalized marijuana?
So that's the big question here. That's probably the closest in terms of workplaces.
That's the only thing I can think of.
So the other thing I thought of is like like you can drink whenever you want. Technically, like legally, you can drink whenever you want. If you are not over a certain limit, you can drive, you can do whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you drank at work, most places would fire you, right?
Yeah.
So that's the closest I can come up with, which this is a thing that is, because with the marijuana being federally illegal still, I don't know if that changes things in terms of state by state.
Although I do know of a few cases where teachers have not been able to be, but again, they were part of the union, fired because of alcoholism's classification on what it is, and it not being a fireable offense.
But again, that's a union, so that's tough. So here's actually a really good example. At a lot of at the Christian universities where I coached, there were things I was not allowed to do that are 100% legal, right? Like if you were unmarried, you weren't allowed to live with a partner of the opposite sex, right? If you were like there were some you couldn't drink at all. There were some you just couldn't be drunk. There were some you couldn't use tobacco, right? Like so I wasn't supposed to smoke cigars or whatever. while I was employed by those places. So that would be the closest I can think of where it's like, hey, these things are like living with someone of the opposite sex is not even remotely illegal in any circumstance, but you could get fired from that from one of these universities.
Yeah, I can't. I guess the thing I mean, maybe desperate times call for desperate measures, but I'm pretty disappointed that this would be the tactic because it comes across as disingenuous, and there are people that truly
that it's a real problem for it.
So maybe if he would have just left it at the addiction component, I could rationalize being like, okay.
I mean, to your alcoholism point, if I were his clearly this is a desperation move, right? He's got $5 million on the line. If he doesn't get,
allegedly,
whatever, pick a number. He's got millions of dollars on the line. If he doesn't get this figured out, he's going to lose out on millions of dollars, right? So I understand the desperation part. The place I would have gone, and you brought it up with the alcoholism, is even though gambling addiction I don't think has the same qualification, I would have tried to draw a parallel between alcoholism and gambling addiction as conditions and said, hey, you can't fire him for this. There's precedent that we don't fire people for these types of addictions or these types of disorders, and tried to make the connection that way. Because at least that seems
plausible,
genuine.
But
yeah,
people have lost their eligibility due to gambling. So,
but nobody's sued before. Until somebody sues, you can do whatever you want. Really. Like the NCAA can say you can only wear purple.
The NFL has been violating antitrust laws for
but the
years.
government says we're cool.
Yeah,
because they went through the proper ways to do that. The NCAA says you can only wear purple, and until somebody sues and loses their eligibility over it, it doesn't matter. You can continue doing it, right? It's the same thing with hey, you can't make money off your own name, image, and likeness. It was totally illegal.
Yeah,
the entire time.
Here though, Daniel, it's pretty much right to hire, right to fire state though.
Yeah.
I was
basically the company.
I was pretty disappointed because I think people do generally struggle.
For sure. Yes, absolutely.
It just seems like a mockery. And I don't know if I feel qualified to draw the distinction of whether he's.
I actually do think he has a problem.
Me too. But it seems like he's totally gaming the system.
Absolutely. Which, again, it was. I mean, my BS detector just went off. Like, it smells terrible, right? Like, it doesn't.
Yeah, because I kind of went from like, dang, man, like, figure it out to, yeah, I don't like you.
Yeah, exactly. It went from, I sort of feel bad because clearly this is something
I was
you
like,
struggle with.
You know, maybe you got a shot at the supplemental draft. You can talk to teams. I'm like,
to all of a sudden, I don't buy anything you said. I think you're just a dumb person and you're trying desperately to get your money back. Like, that's the switch that I made yesterday. And maybe that's not fair. Maybe this is just the tack that his lawyers thought was the best way to get him back on the field, but it makes him look terrible. It's a really, really bad look for Sorsby that they went this way.
So that's kind of the stance we're taking, JK.
Yeah.
He says it's complicated by the fact that football players aren't actually employees, but you do have, the NCAA does have rules.
Yeah.
And in order to participate, this is what you can or can't do.
They actually might have a little more leeway since they aren't real employees. Like, they might have a little more leeway on their rules in terms of, like, when you get hired on as a W-2 employee, you have more rights than you do as a contractor or whatever
100%
status that these guys fall under.
You're more like a member of a group, aren't you? It's almost like fraternity initiation.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yes.
Because the NCAA doesn't actually pay them anything.
And Jimmy Neutron, that's how they won the name, image, and likeness with the video games.
Mm-hmm.
They were part of a group.
Yes. And the NCAA, since they're not actually paying them anything, I don't know how that changes. Like, they're not the employer at any part of the stop.
TK, that's a fact, right? Student athletes have less rights. They would have less rights.
Yes. Yeah. Because they're not a W-2 and they're not employees of the NCAA. Right? Like, even their contract status is through the university, not through the NCAA. So maybe they could, I mean, you'd almost have.
I wonder what the student code of conduct says. He has to have signed it.
Sure. Yeah. You mean you have to enroll most places.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That would be interesting.
It just seems like that would be fairly cut and dry. But I get the legalese portion of it.
I also don't. It could also, like, the legalese of it could be cut and dry, and you've got a Texas Tech booster as your judge, so I have no idea how that's going to go, right? Like, we've seen this in other places already.
Yeah.
I have no idea how it's going to go when you have this absolute wild card doing guns up, in social media posts. Who's actually the one making the decision?
So, bang, 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 pew, 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 pew.
Now, the NCAA could probably make a case for, if you're betting on your own games, there's a chance that you're impacting that game somehow. Even if you're not playing, like, that you may have some sort, like, you could, racketeering might be aggressive, but, like, you might have actual, like, hey, he's breaking the law here, not just our rules. That's why he's ineligible.
God,
that would maybe be part of your argument.
That's pretty ballsy.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is wild, man.
Pretty ballsy.
And also, I also think it makes him weirdly less likely to get a shot from an NFL team.
Yeah, I don't
know what NFL team is going to be like, oh, yeah, he's taking zero ownership. Let's take a shot on this guy.
Right.
If you take the
total BCD move.
Exactly. Like, if you don't take the addiction, I'm getting treatment, all this kind of stuff, like I'm rehabbed type thing, I don't think you get a shot in the NFL. And I think that's where he's at now.
Heck of a.
It's going to be. I mean, it's
going to say dice roll, but the guy's already said. I mean, it's a tough game to play.
It is.
I mean, again, backs against the wall, desperate times, desperate measures, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, and I mean, he hired some very high-priced lawyers, so I'm sure their legal strategies are better than mine, but their PR strategies might not be, because it's a pretty tough look for Brent Sorsby.
Interesting.
I don't think he's making any friends.
He did. I said that earlier. He did bet on his team.
So there is no difference, except maybe he couldn't afford the lawyers that Sorsby can. I mean, really.
Now he's a UFL star.
There you go. That's let's take a quick break here. We're going to come back. We've got Phil Snow at 8:30. That's DBM Ravi Lulla. We'll be back with more Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time for Stars, Stripes, and Savings at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage EX starting at $259 a month. A great lease to kick off May. 2 Kias, 2 reasons to celebrate. Only at Edwards Kia. We've also got the 2026 Kia K4 GT starting at $239 a month. Don't wait. Get in on Stars, Stripes, and Savings this May at Edwards Kia.
I mean, not the result that you were looking for, but how does it feel to finish as a Big Ten runner-up?
Honestly, I'm just super happy that I gave out what I had. Unfortunately, I got injured 3 weeks ago, and I was like, hey, Coach, I don't know if I can, but I put my heart out on the track today. Coach said yesterday, fight like a lion, and I think that's what I did, so I'm very proud of myself, and actually, I hope Nebraska is proud of me, too.
Regardless of this, you are still top 10 in the country. What are you going to do mentally to prepare for the rest of the season?
Honestly, I just hope my groin heals, and it's actually looking pretty good. I know what I wanted to do technical-wise. I haven't hit a single really good throw. My previous throw, like my season best right now, got killed by the wind, so I'm very excited, and I hope I can throw like a really far one at Nationals.
And how did it feel to do this, to get Big Ten run-up in front of your home crowd?
It was just fun. Like, I was so excited. Like, it's my first year competing for Nebraska. I'm like, having the home crowd behind me was everything to me, and I actually feel like that's what helped me do what I did today.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Male Medical. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. Reminding you to give our friends over at Next Gen a call, 402-614-9700. Their primary service is testosterone replacement for both men and women, but they've got so many other things that they offer as well, whether it's weight loss, whether it's healing in terms of peptides, whether you need a little extra juice in the gym, whatever it is, even as little as just need a little vitamin boost. They'll do vitamin shots as well. They've got the hydration therapy with the IVs. Basically anything to get you feeling your best, Next Gen Male Medical has you covered. And if you mention that we sent you, you will get a free consultation. So it's a risk-free move to give them a call and schedule an appointment and see what they can do to get you feeling your best. It's 402-614-9700. There was a interesting little piece in Athlon yesterday, DB.
I don't mind this time of year. Right?
I do like some of the stuff
I
we
do
get.
look. I kind of doesn't seem like my style, right? But I do kind of like the anonymous.
Yeah, you get it usually.
Coaches quotes, even though I hate the whole anonymous thing, right? That drives me up the wall.
If it's the only way you can get someone to be on the record and tell you something, like I can live with it.
Yeah.
I don't love it. I
don't love it.
I do at least trust when they say like, hey, everything is from other Big Ten coaches. Because a lot of times you get like an anonymous quote. It's just like, this could be literally any person. They're just a person within the organization. It's like, well, technically the janitor's in the organization. I don't know if that's where this quote's coming from, right? At least, you know, like, hey, these are Big Ten coaches that you're getting these quotes from. And so they asked several, I don't know if it gave me a number here, but they asked several Big Ten coaches what they thought about other teams in the league.
Yeah.
And gave a few quotes on every team. What stuck out to you, DB? Is there I know we'll get to Nebraska at some point, but is there a team that stuck out to you?
So I think the Illinois and guys, you don't have to have this one ready, but I think the Illinois and Minnesota thing is interesting because talking about both those schools, what they talk about. The first thing they talked about
Their
was
evals.
The evals
were incredible. Great
right?
evals.
They're very, very good at evals. And it gave me pause because I just think that's code for when you like to always say, man, we forget about fit. Like we focus so much on X, Y, and Z, we forget to talk about fit. Like fit is so much part of your of the actual eval.
Absolutely.
Right? That may not have talent stare you right in the face, but you know, like, oh, hey, that's one of our guys. Like that he could work in our system. And I thought the comparisons between Illinois and Minnesota were fascinating because both anonymous quotes were about the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. As a matter of fact, I think it was even, hey, Minnesota, they're a lot like Illinois in terms of they get their evals right. And it's like, I can't stress that enough, right? We get so enamored with who offered and who didn't, and do you fit?
Yeah.
Hey, if you fit with what we want to do, like, I'll rock with you. And apparently, Chernoff is at Minnesota is a good evaluator.
Yeah. the GM there.
GM,
yeah, he got high praise.
Yeah,
from the anonymous sources. I thought Illinois and Minnesota were super interesting. I thought Iowa might fall into that category too. That's not really what they said about for Iowa though.
So yeah, if you guys want to pull the quote, Iowa was fascinating because it's the influx of getting new bodies.
Yeah, the transfers, like leaning more on the transfer portal.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, it's a little contrarian. It's like
they kind of almost seems like they don't trust the evals at Iowa with the transfer guys the way they trust them with the high school evaluation.
Yeah, and now that they've had an influx playing the transfer portal game, which I don't know. It doesn't seem like it on paper. I get it at the quarterback spot. It was pretty obvious, and you had to retool at the wide receiver spot. But I mean, we'll see.
I also thought one of the quotes in that about Iowa was really interesting. They say it's been developmental, but in this day and age, you can't really do that anymore. You have to adapt and make the right choices in the portal. And I don't.
But the last part is interesting.
Oh, I would still bet a lot of money that they're going to be really good and the culture of their team will still be intact. I don't agree with the first part that you can't do the developmental thing anymore. I think it has to look a little different, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you're going to do the developmental thing, and this is what I'm actually very encouraged about by Nebraska, despite what some of the quotes in Athlon were about it.
I get it though. We'll get to it. And
if you're at a 30,000 foot view, like I can understand how you would think those things. But I think it's going to look different to be a developmental program in today's day and age. But I am encouraged by the retention that Nebraska's seen in terms of the players. Like that's that's the first step in being a developmental program is being able to retain your roster at like an 83% clip or whatever it is, which is really, really important if that's how you want to go about your business. And in order to do that, you have to, as we've talked about 100 times, create a place people don't want to leave.
Yeah.
And if I was able to do that, or if anybody's able to do that, I don't think having a developmental program is a non-starter in today's college football. It's harder than it used to be because it's easier to leave. But if you make it a place that you don't want to leave, you can still be a developmental program. And if you choose in the transfer portal guys with multiple years, as we've seen Nebraska do quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating because every time we start with Iowa, we always start with quarterback play.
Mm-hmm.
And it hasn't really seemed to matter for 80% of the season.
Yeah.
85% of the season.
Yeah.
And
we've seen some truly horrific quarterback play.
And Heklinski gets the first mention.
Yeah.
Coming over from Wake, and it's like, I've heard this before.
I did think one of the criticisms of Heklinski was really interesting though. Guys, can you pop that back up on the screen real quick for Iowa? He said he struggled to put on weight, which, okay, whatever. Struggled to buy into the intensity of college football a bit. I'm interested to see how that progresses at Iowa. If there's anything that stops you from being successful at Iowa, that might be it.
And
if that's accurate, I don't know enough about Heklinski to say.
I literally just had this talk at the dinner table yesterday, but I always talk about it. I talked about it with Brett Zickman yesterday at state baseball about competitive stamina and all the games that like Parker and some of the guys had played in, and being excited to get to Morningside. And I said one of the things that I think could work for Park is he's very competitive, and he's shown the ability to stay the course. Took it on the chin against Wahoo and State, tough state wrestling outing. Played in a lot of big time games. And he said, well, I asked him if he wanted to play in summer, what he's going to do with Legion ball. And he's like, no, he wants to get on campus and start getting ready for football. And I said, I'm just telling you, and Morningside runs their it's a big time program. Ton of numbers, very competitive, a lot of good players. I'm like, the competitive stamina will serve him well. It morphed into the conversation at dinner time with talking about like workouts and who can stay the course. Caleb was making a suggestion. I was asking him about, strength and conditioning and finding the right guys. And he's like, listen, man, sometimes it shouldn't even have to get to mat drills. If you nip it in the bud in the weight room and correct it there, then it doesn't trickle into mat drills. And he just had some interesting insights into just showing up to do the work every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very, very understated. We look at a lot of other things, and it's not everybody else's fault because we don't actually see.
It's because we can't see it.
We don't see what rigor looks
Yeah.
like. We don't.
Unless
and
we're
most,
in the
and,
room, you
and
can't.
most of us don't have the experience of what it takes,
of what it should look like, even
to be on every day.
Mm-hmm.
What I tell you was the hardest part. And we're talking about winning multiple championships
Mm-hmm.
and playing for a ton, right? I'm like, the most difficult part of that deal was to be on
Mm-hmm.
every day, right? I didn't love it then, and I wasn't even always good at it. I learned to be, because when you start to, if you're not like everybody else, you just stick out, right? So I stopped having people to bitch and moan to, because at some point people just don't want to listen.
Yeah, they don't want to be a part of that.
And if I was trying to be miserable and I was talking to other miserable people, we all had something in common.
Mm-hmm.
We probably weren't going to be playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had to knock it off, right? Get your ass in gear.
Did you want to be miserable more than you wanted to play?
That's a choice.
Right.
What's my favorite line about misery?
Being miserable is a choice.
It's optional.
Yeah.
Misery is optional.
Yeah.
And as long as you know that and you choose it anyway, hey, man, go do you.
Yeah.
Right? I just want you to know you don't have to resign yourself.
But
to
go
that.
do you somewhere else, because it's not going to fly here.
You can't be here.
Yeah. You can do you, but it's not going to be here.
Listen, I've had twice a year it'll come up. I have very few emotional sparks with the team, but it's always about the same thing.
Yep.
It's, listen, if this is too much or it's not for you, all good. Let's just say it out loud, move on. We'll support you in whatever endeavors you want to do.
We'll help you find some place that maybe is for you.
Just not here.
Yeah, it's not going to be here.
Just can't.
Yeah.
I had to go up to school the other day. Got really good player. Say, hey, we're going to get out in front of this. Because I just want you to see a list of a couple guys that Coach Lamanji said you could no longer be part of the program. One of those guys had all state accolades. Like, nobody's above reproach here.
Yeah.
So just do yourself a solid. Get out in front.
Yeah.
Put a little equity in. Because once you figure out how to actually do it, it'll feel uncomfortable to you when you don't.
It's easier to start that way than to try and catch up later.
That's what they had a couple players last year, and I don't want to really get into specifics with Coach Snow. I want to ask him about generalities of rigor. There had a couple guys on the back end. It's like, hey man, you got to do hard things every day. It starts in mat drills, right? Like, just do it over and over, because then you know when you're not hitting those benchmarks. It just won't feel right.
What's the one thing, because you knew I already liked Mo Purify, but what's the one thing when you told me that, I was like, oh, I really like that.
Oh, man, listen. Like, his competitive stamina is at an elite level, and he doesn't need a babysitter. He showed up every day. That guy never missed practice.
You told me great lifter.
Outstanding in the weight room.
And I don't care how strong he is. Great lifter to me means...
You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
You can almost always look at that. Almost always.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you had some guys. I remember Chris Brown was telling me a story about Troy Edwards from La Tech. He torched Nebraska, got Sweeney, blase. And I always wondered about his personality. And Chris had him in Pittsburgh, right? And he would tell me about his lifting and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, God, and he's still good. But over time, like, it reveals itself.
Yeah, that caught up to it.
Right? It's like,
yeah.
You can almost... And I'm not saying you have to be able to move mountains or whatever.
It's the way in which you approach the weight room. It's not about being James Harrison out there.
You know the funny thing about saying that?
What's that?
That's where Caleb just said the other day. He wished, like, if you really want to nip this stuff in the bud, start with what happens in the weight room.
Tell you,
there's a direct correlation.
I can tell you, when I was doing strength and conditioning for our basketball teams in college, I could tell you exclusively by what was happening in that weight room, which guy was going to maximize his ability and which guys weren't. Now, some of those guys that didn't maximize were still better than the other guys. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Especially at that level. Like, we had some guys that probably should have been on some low major D1 rosters that were playing NAI ball because of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They were still going to be better players than the guys that didn't maximize. But there was a reason they were playing NAI ball instead of low D1 or high D2.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I could tell you exactly who those guys were going to be by the way they acted in the weight room.
And the guy that your buddy asked me about, I talked to him about that at graduation.
Yeah.
He was at my cousin's graduation, and I stopped by, and I'm like, hey, listen, like can you handle the rigor? You're super talented.
Yeah.
Like he's way gifted, but it's like you almost want to get bored with it. Where it's like, okay, you gotta punch the clock.
Yeah.
I retweeted the story of Bill Belichick when he sat down with Barstool and he was talking about Randy Moss. For all the things that we think about Randy Moss, no one ever questioned his what? Except when he was in
Oakland.
Yep. And the environment, because he didn't like the loser mentality. And he didn't think he could supersede the culture. So he's just like,
whatever. I'm just
whatever, man.
Burn out my 3 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, to take an $8 million pay cut on paper and have it so incentive laden, and then to want the playbook ahead of time. Like that dude's
he knew what he was about.
That dude's an elite level talent.
Yeah.
And he showed the frick up.
Yeah.
It's pull up Nebraska here a little bit.
Yeah, let's look at the Nebraska quotes. First quote is about Dylan Raiola. Says, they're in a ton of denial with the quarterback situation. Dylan Raiola is as good as they get as a player and as a person. Losing him, I thought he was their last hope. He was the pin holding that thing together.
Way overstated.
I would
I rock with the family. Way overstated.
So there's a couple things there. Number one, last hope is an insane thing to say about any individual college football player.
That sounds like something a fan would say.
That's what I thought. I was like, this sounds like some of the weird comments we get sometimes. And honestly, what it reminded me of was when Frost was hired. And they're like, if Frost can't do it, no one can.
Yeah.
Right? It's the savior mentality that I think is super toxic and I think is insane that a coach thinks this way. Number two, I'm not saying Dylan Raiola is a bad person by any means. I don't know.
How would they know?
Hey, fair, unless it's somebody from Oregon saying this. But I also think there is a matter of fit, not just as football players, but as people. I think he may have been sort of an awkward fit personality-wise in Lincoln. And that's fine. That's not an indictment on him or the program. But if it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. Like you've had co-hosts, I've co-hosted with people where it's like, hey, you're a good person. This is an awkward fit personality-wise, right? That's just a thing that happens. So I think that's wildly overstated as well. Listen, do I think they would have won more games last year if he didn't get injured versus if he did? Yeah, obviously. He was the best quarterback on the roster last year. But I also think, we talked about this with NFL people a lot, or with NFL quarterbacks a lot. I think Dylan Raiola is the type of quarterback in terms of being like a strict drop back passer that you have to have a really, really high level of talent and infrastructure already around him for him to operate at his best. And Nebraska wasn't there yet. There's places where having that mobility to bail you out of some things is really, really useful. And so you can have a guy that's maybe less talented than Dylan Raiola be better for Nebraska or anywhere else for that matter, because he allows some margin for error in those things. You don't, with a pure drop back passer, especially in college, your execution has to be essentially perfect. There is zero margin for error there.
The one thing I think is pretty understated in this, or we just assume too much. Never undersell the ability for how well you vibe with teammates.
Sure.
Especially the younger you are. The older you get, the more willing you are to overlook and can get past, and it becomes more of a professional mentality. But we got to be honest, right? 90% of the reason people leave their jobs is not because they're not proficient or they're good at it. They cannot get along with the people they work with. So it's even more magnified in this highly, highly competitive
places where you keep score,
where there's a tally and you spend an inordinate amount of time with each other. And also in some of these other anonymous quotes, especially Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you to pull up Indiana, and then we're going to go back to Nebraska. They're going to lose that rush of James Madison guys that they had the last 2 years. So they could definitely struggle in some areas of continuity where maybe talent does have to take over. But I'm definitely not going to underestimate Indiana again. Go back to Nebraska, what I was talking about when I say nobody was talking about this savior mentality when the JMU guys came over to Indiana, the way that they talk about Dylan with Nebraska. And they've already openly admitted that continuity and that's code for getting along with one another. And I'm not saying they can get along with Dylan, but what you don't know is what's the camaraderie and the chemistry like because of that situation that they went through with Dylan. They don't know.
Yeah.
Do they like it more? Is it different? Are they motivated because this is the sentiment? Let's say this guy is exactly right. Are they motivated by that to say, we'll show you? Like, you don't know what the byproduct is if, in fact, you deem this to be true. Now, if it's not true and you're actually more cohesive or more connected, why couldn't it have a JMU effect?
Absolutely.
Because we're acknowledging that it's the thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
we said this with Indiana for the last 2 years, right?
I'm kind of a grown-up, right? And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that based on how I feel about something or someone affects what they get out of me. I should know better.
Sure.
Right? I'm my own standard.
Yeah.
The job is to be the best version of me. That's pretty myopic, but I am competitive. So the gamification of that is definitely something that helps me get out of bed.
Yeah.
Right?
It sort of insulates you from some of the outside factors that could impact how you.
But I'm not always good at it.
Yeah.
And I'm conscious of it.
Sure. Yeah. Which is half the battle, but yeah.
Right? So back me down 32 years.
Sure.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. You definitely weren't good at it at 20.
You're not even self-aware. You're not even that self-aware.
No.
To know, and you haven't done something at a high enough level to know, man, I'm not going to let how I feel about this person compromise my behavior.
Yeah.
But it happens.
Absolutely.
I don't like that guy, so you get a half-ass effort.
Yeah.
Right? Grown-ups do that.
Yeah.
So, but
and let's
coincidentally, when I'm not right or I don't want to be here, you know, one of the things I think about?
What's that?
I'm not letting that guy down. Like,
sure.
So I get my ass out of the house.
Yeah. So you're like, there's times where that can lift you out of a place where you normally wouldn't be able to. Yeah.
And I'm
like there's a difference between negative and neutral. There's also a difference between neutral and positive,
100%,
right?
100%.
You can be neutral and you're not going to get the effects of the positive, right? Like it doesn't always have to be bad to be detrimental.
100%. Because you can make it feel normal because you're getting by.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially when you've got a certain level of talent that you can get by on the talent sometimes. But
that's why you want to say, oh, there's more in there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
we'll ask Coach Snow about the second part.
The
because there's some
continuity.
Being hard to get along with and
sure.
Turnover the staff. There's a lot in there.
Absolutely. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We will be right back with Coach Snow, the associate head coach of Nebraska football, right after this.
It's time for Stars, Stripes, and Savings at Edwards Hyundai. Lease the 2026 Hyundai Palisade SE all-wheel drive starting at $339 a month. Big savings to start May right. 2 great Hyundais, 1 big May event. Let's go. We've also got the 2026 Hyundai Elantra SE. Sign and drive for $0 down, starting at $249 a month. Don't wait. Get in on Stars, Stripes, and Savings this May at Edwards Hyundai.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are happy to be joined now by Phil Snow. He's the associate head coach at Nebraska. Coach Snow, how are we doing this morning?
What's up, guys?
Coach, how we doing, buddy? We got you set up. Like, who helped you? That's all I want to know. How'd we get this done?
Well, our video guy's pretty good, Martin. So he got me. You're right about that. I don't know anything I'm doing with this video stuff.
What time did you get up this morning?
Oh, I normally get up between 4 and 4:30 every morning.
That's what I heard. Did you hit the 10-minute plank?
Today I'm doing it today. I've been working out at noon trying to change my routine. So
you want to shock the body? What are we doing?
Yeah, I'm trying something different. You know, when you get my age, you got to be different.
Hey, so listen, speaking of getting out of bed, I don't know what you've done to my son, but he absolutely thinks the world of you. I asked him yesterday, I said, hey, we got Coach Snow on. And he's like, oh, man, I might have to tune in for that. Can you send me a link? And I go, I've been doing this for years. And at no point have you ever been, oh, I rock with my dad. I want to see what he's doing. Like, I don't get it. From day one, you guys have been kind of connected. I asked him why. He said he's a straight shooter and he's a super good teacher. Would you agree with those adjectives?
No, Caleb's your kid's a great kid. So really intelligent, wants to learn. So, over the years, I've been coaching 49 years, so I maybe learned a few things to help players. So, but I've got to stay in my lane. So, we've got coordinators and position coaches, so I try to help when I can.
So, Coach, I want to talk about that for a second here, because I do think there's a lot of people that are like, what is his lane? How does that work with the existing defensive staff, especially? Like, how would you describe your role within the staff and the way it's constructed?
Well, I think one of the things that I was really fortunate, the old coaches, when I grew up, mentored us young guys. And when we weren't doing stuff that they thought was correct, we would sit down and visit about it. And, that is kind of a lost deal. So, and Matt knows that I like to mentor coaches. I try to help them in any way we can. If you just look at the staffs we had at Temple and Baylor, where they're at today, is amazing. So that's one of my jobs, is to help with the staff. And then the second is that if, I sit in the defensive meetings and if in the staff meetings, obviously, and if there's something I think that can help or a different idea that may help, I bring those things up. Now, if they don't want to use them, that's fine. I just think there's different ways of doing things. And if you haven't done them, I think it's important that you hear that there are different ways of doing it and analyze, every avenue you can to win. So that's really my role in the staff.
We don't have to compare and contrast, because I don't think there's real growth in that. But if I start with where we're at with guys in the building, and you and I have watched a lot of practices together, I think one of the things that I'm enjoying right now is the actual teaching part, where our guys can get on a knee, they'll pull kids to the side. We're very specific. I think Yelk just loves football, and Rob, Coach Brown.
Yep.
And it's so intentional. Is there still that place? You hear all the got to win now, and there's no honeymoon, but we still want to develop too. Do you like how you're meshing, or those worlds are coexisting, where you got to do some portal stuff, but you had a real high roster retention. You're still teaching. Like it looks a little different from my vantage point, at least this year.
Yeah, I think the staff that Matt hired on defense are really good teachers. They all came from lower levels, most of them, and started at lower levels and worked their way up. So, they have a burning desire to be successful and teach and get players to perform. If you look at Indiana, that's what they've done. They've done a great job of coaching their players. And so I think this staff they're really good teachers, and I've had fun being around them. They like football. They want to hear different ideas. And so it's been fun.
Let me ask you something, because people say this a lot. I remember one time Coach Pelini was talking. He took the podium and he was talking about a couple of players, and he said, you know what, you could tell he really loves football. And I think to the layperson, it can take people a little back. Like, well, how do you do it if you don't really love it? And I would explain, like, sometimes people just do things because they're good at it, but I don't know how much they love it. When you say they're football guys, do you think we misinterpret like what that really means? Because sometimes you'll think, well, they've been coaching. How aren't they like football guys? But there's levels to this, right?
Oh, there certainly is. And the end product is the video, is how you play, right? How hard you play, how physical you play, how detailed you are, and this staff has proven that over time. If you watch their video, their guys play hard, they're physical, and they know exactly what to do. So that's the bottom line. People that love football, you can tell by how their players play football. So that's how I would grade if I wasn't a football coach.
Huh.
That's really interesting. Go ahead.
No, that's fascinating. So because and listen, I know Coach Rhule really well, not near as well as you, but he's super transparent with me. And I think he talked about wanting to go. He goes, the longer I do this, DB, the more I want to find guys that love football, that love competing. Do you see that, or do you see the intentionality in that with who he wants in the building? Because you don't just stumble in to those attributes, right? You got to try to recruit it, and then you have to fine tune it. Can you see it from the top down approach?
Yeah, there's no question. So, over the years, we've always said, if you want a kid that intercepts the ball, find one that does it at every level, right? They're not going to just do it at your level. And so it's the same thing with toughness and people that love football. I'll give you an example, and I tell the coaches this. I said, guys, how do you evaluate whether a kid loves football? Well, in the old days, what we would do is when we went to the home visit, we would go in their bedroom because their bedroom is who they are. And if there's no football in their bedroom, he doesn't love football. And so you have to find ways, because kids will tell you they love football, and they do it because they're good at it and what it brings to them, but they really don't love it. And that's why I think like if you take Indiana, they have went out in the portal and they always get older players because they can evaluate on video whether they love football.
Yeah.
And how well they play. If you look at their portal guys, they're 23 years old. And so they're not taking chances on that. They want the end product already there. And so my point is that if you want a tough kid and a kid that loves football, you better recruit one because, sometimes you can bring a kid along in those areas, but you'd prefer to have those qualities coming in.
Coach, talking about qualities you prefer coming in, I want to kind of move to the coaching staff here for a second, because I find it really interesting. We have these conversations about continuity all the time, right? You want to have continuity on your players. You want to have continuity on your staff. But it's also really important to have guys that fit right. And a lot of times you don't know if it's a good fit until people get there or until it starts working out. How do you said you've been coaching for almost 50 years here. Like, how do you kind of balance the idea of, it'd be nice to keep a group together for several years versus, hey, when it's not working, and you got to move on?
Yeah, I think Matt did a nice job of that in this offseason. I think there were some things that he didn't like. That doesn't mean that the people that he were doing stuff that weren't great coaches, but they just didn't fit into who he was. So he went out and made some adjustments and got the people that he believed are going to fit the culture that's here. So, I mean, that's what you got to do. A lot of times, It doesn't mean when a guy leaves that he's not a great coach. He just doesn't fit the culture. And each program, there's different ways to skin a cat. When we went to Baylor, guys, Art Briles, they practiced for an hour and 15, 20 minutes. That's all they practiced. They met for a half an hour a week with the players and won 80-some% of their games. Well, we weren't structured that way. Our deal is hard work and put in the hours. And so there's just different ways to skin a cat. So sometimes a guy just doesn't work out from a philosophical standpoint, and you got to move on. Doesn't mean they can't coach.
I mean, I want to pull it. We went through this deal with Athlons. There's anonymous coaching quotes, and there's something interesting at the tail end of this on Coach Rhule. Obviously, somebody that I like a ton. I've spent a ton of time around, but I've been very open about. I'm like, gosh, I there's this part of me that would love to come to work for him, but it would be tough to work for him because he's very demanding. Like he works extremely hard. And I think he wants you to earn money, right? He just doesn't. We had these conversations about him not wanting his staff or his players to think this is Disneyland because they have it so good at Nebraska, right? He's always working against that. I want you to read I want you to read the bottom part of this quote. Can you pull this up for? You can block us and leave Coach Snow on here. The bottom, it says, head coach Matt Rhule had, he's got some great aspects. He can make you run through a wall, but there's just always so much turnover with the staff. I know that's a tough environment for those coaches to be in. Rhule makes it like that on purpose because he doesn't want you to get comfortable. I don't want to say his model isn't going to work, but I don't know. Like, when you hear that, do you have any... How do you ascertain that anonymous synopsis of the work environment?
Well, I'll be honest with you I was with Matt 10 years and we didn't have very much turnover. So I don't think any organization, I think the more you can keep your people in place that believe and everybody's on the same page and working to the same goals. You don't want to lose people. I think good organizations don't, but I think this is Matt through the process has there's some guys that have come in that just haven't fit, and so that if they don't fit, you have to move on.
Yeah,
and so I think that's what's happened here. It's not. I'll give you an example about who Matt is. I was a DC at the Carolina Panthers, and after our second year, we were second in the league in defense. And he would come in and address everything that we did not do well. And the coaches in the NFL said, who the hell is this guy? What's he talking about? We're second in the league in total defense. And every time he comes in here, it's negative.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not negative. You have to, if you don't continue to grow and get better every year, and that includes the scheme evolving and because people catch up. And Matt knows that. So he is always demanding that we're trying to find an edge to put us over the top. And so he's going to continue to do that at Nebraska until he gets over the top. And we have not gotten over the top yet. So if it took a few staff changes, if he's in there questioning certain things, then you have to listen. He's done it. He's been successful. And so it's not, everybody said Nick Saban was really hard to work for. No, yeah. Nick Saban was just demanding every day.
And he could turn over a staff. Because the thing that I thought that was interesting about that quote, why I wanted to get your take on it, because I think we both think very highly of Coach Rhule. And one of the reasons why I would tell Ravi, he's like, oh, you're going to leave me one day for Nebraska. And I'm like, the one thing that I would question me is every time I have a conversation, doesn't matter if we're eating or we're at practice, I always typically leave. And I think to myself, I have got to be better, right? Like there's just this aspect. He doesn't really listen to complaining. He doesn't like bitching and moaning. And so I had to kind of self-assess real time. I'm like, all right, that's not that wouldn't be hard to be around. I just would have to focus on the right things. So I'd have to ask myself, is that something I could do? Not whether his vantage point was unhealthy or not. I just have to say, if I'm not going to be able to complain.
Yeah, am I built that way?
Am I really built that way? You know what I mean? Like it just forces you to reevaluate. Instead of talking about what you're not or what you don't have, he just likes to talk about solutions. That takes a very certain type of self-aware person in this profession.
It does. I think if you address life that way, you're going to be pretty successful. I worked for a guy for 14 years, Bruce Snyder. He's now dead. He's a hell of a football coach. And if you ever brought up or complained about something, then you had to have the answer that you thought would cure it.
Mm.
And I think, you can complain about stuff, but have a solution for it.
Mm.
Too many of us, we complain and that's all we do, right? That we haven't thought it through and said, okay, how can we fix this?
Mm.
And so I think that's the big issue. How do you fix things that are not right? And you can, and so that's who Matt is. Matt, he doesn't mind if you bring up something that you don't like, but have a solution for it. And if you do, he'll think through it, and then it leads to a staff discussion. And normally, with all the great minds in the room, if you address something, you're going to come up with a pretty good solution. So, that's who Matt's about.
It's brilliant. Like sometimes I'll see it real life, right? Real time. We'll be watching practice or something, and he'll say, "Hey, listen, guys, like stop with the signals. Let's just see if they can play through it." And as a coach, it's like, oh boy, like I can't do my thing. What? This is new. Like you just want them to have to like go with it. Like I could see where over time. That's like if you can do it both ways and still want to teach and still enjoy evaluating, but want to operate in the uneasiness, like just learning to operate being uncomfortable, like it's over time, that's going to be pretty freeing. At least that's the way that it looks to me, but I don't have to do it every day. It just seems like that's something that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, one of the things Matt does is even if you have a practice plan, he will change it in the middle, and nobody knows but him.
Yeah,
and the reason he does that is that's how the football game's played.
Yeah,
things happen in a football game where you now have to reset and say, okay, this is the situation. Let's attack it. And so, it's when I first went to work for him, I was with guys that every minute was accounted for, and you did it exactly how the practice plan was. And so when I went to work for Matt, that drove me nuts the first year. But when you see the method to the madness, it is like a football game. And so that's what he tries to do, and I think it's really effective.
Coach, I'm wondering, obviously you've been with Coach Rhule a long time, whether it's Temple, Baylor, Carolina, and now Nebraska. I'm curious what you think some of the differences are outside of the obvious. Obviously, transfer portal and NIL weren't around when you were at Temple and Baylor the way they are now. What are some of, outside of those things, though, what are some of the differences you've noticed in terms of whether it's playing in the Big Ten, whether it's kind of how expectations of the fan base impact the way things are perceived? Like, what are some of the differences you've noticed at this stop?
Well, I think, first of all, there's a lot of things at Nebraska. Each school has its own set of issues. Everybody thinks, Nebraska's a great job. Well, Nebraska does have a set of issues, and one of them is the history of this university and how many football games they've won. But how long ago was that? It's been over 20 years probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're fighting that a little bit when you come in. That's always an issue. You're playing in a conference that has some elite programs. Now, I know when it was two divisions, the division Nebraska was in was probably the easiest.
Oh, the old Legends Leaders or the West? Which one? The first one?
Well, the last one they were in. I thought they did.
That was East West, right?
Yeah, Big Ten West. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's all different now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some issues that make the job, a tough job. Which college football, all of them are tough jobs, today. So, but until you get your culture set, and if you talk to Matt, we are still, we still have a step to take, and that's what he's hoping this group will do, is take the next step. And we play, because really when you turn on the tape, it's all about how hard you play, physical, and how detailed you are. And ultimately all those things lead to not beating yourself. If you don't beat yourself and you play to your capability, well, whatever happens, happens, and you can live with that. So that's where we're at, and he is working diligently to get that over the hump. And that's why you see new staff members. We have a new quarterback. There's a lot of different issues or situations that we have changed to hope to get over the hump.
We've had some fantastic, and sometimes I feel bad because I know sometimes you just want to watch practice, and I like the technical stuff. You like the technical stuff, whether they're in twos and they're getting the A gap, or it's 4 down versus 3 down, or like whatever you're letting me ask you about. If you could draw it up, and you want to be efficient in this conference, give me the top 2 or 3 things you'd say defensively you have to be able to do.
Okay, so really when you look at football, if you don't give up big plays, you win 3rd and 4th down, and you play in the red zone really well, you're going to win a lot of football games. Those are the 3 areas that are the most critical. Again, you can't give up big plays. You got to win 3rd and 4th down, and you got to win in the red zone. Hold people to field goals and score touchdowns on offense in the red zone. If you're really good in those 3 areas, you're going to win a lot of football games. But how do you get good in those 3 areas? The amount of detail and execution, and how physical you are, and how fast you play, all those things lead to playing well in those 3 areas. But really, that's what it comes down to, those 3 areas.
What dealt you the most fits with offenses in the red zone? We're going to take a pretty deep dive into red zone offense efficiencies and how Nebraska can score more touchdowns versus no points or field goals, and defensively to limit touchdowns. Obviously, that's a key you talked about. What deals you the most fits when teams got in the red zone?
Well, okay, on either side of the football, the number one thing you have to be able to do in a red zone if you're going to score or stop people is you got to stop the run and be able to run the football in the red zone.
Yeah.
Which becomes harder because everybody's closer to the football. But that's number one. Number 2 is, and in the National Football League, Aaron Rodgers led the red zone every year. And it wasn't the initial play. It was his ad-libbing and moving, and he would score. It was unbelievable at a rate. Well, if you look at us last year, we couldn't stop the run in the red zone. We didn't run the ball real efficient in the red zone, and we had a quarterback that didn't move very well. And we didn't play against the quarterbacks that move well down there. So those are the things. You got to be able to run and stop the run, and then I think the quarterback's mobility and ad-libbing down there is a huge factor in scoring points.
Okay, Coach.
And
so
stopping people.
We've been talking about kind of the mobile quarterback factor in the red zone a little bit previously, but I also want to ask you a question here. How much outside of the ad-libbing, right? That I think that part makes sense. You have to cover guys for longer. You have to kind of scramble drill a little bit. That makes it really hard on a defense. But when you have a quarterback that is capable of that and that can move a little bit, how does that help you run the football better in the red zone when everything is still so condensed?
Well, one of the things, if you look at Indiana, you look at all these teams, they run the quarterback. Iowa did a great job last year running the quarterback in the red zone too. If you want to get better in running the football, so as we all know, if the tailback carries the ball on defense, we can add one more player than they have. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have a good chance of stopping them. But once the quarterback now carries the ball, they got a hat for a hat. And so I think the quarterback run game is really vital down there too. And it's really vital on 3rd and short and 4th and short to keep the chains moving down there. So, and that's one of the things our new guy can do. Anthony can run with the football. You can have quarterback runs in your offense that now create different problems. I'll give you an example. It's been a run around, and Damon, you guys ran it a bunch at Nebraska. Is speed option against blitz?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, our guy can do that now.
Yeah.
And so you're going to blitz us down there. We can run speed option, and it's out the gate. So there's a lot of different ways that the athletic quarterback can help you, even in the run game.
You know, I kind of, you know, I watch a lot of what you guys want to do. I know a little bit about your history. Obviously, I mean, Tempe was a nightmare for us when we saw you guys and Coach Snyder down there. How important is simplicity versus or in addition to being able to play fast? Like, how do those two things coexist?
Okay, here's what and you know, I learned this from Monty Kiffin, that knowledge is power. And the more knowledgeable you are about your subject, the more simplistic you can teach it. And so, which allows you to do more on defense. You know, so and when you really listen to a good teacher, they are powerful because their knowledge of what they're teaching, they can make it so simplistic, where another guy teaching the same thing is so complicated. And it's all because of knowledge. And so if you look at Indiana right now, everybody says, you know, well, I mean, they are really good on defense. They do a lot of stuff on defense. But they've got to be great teachers. And they're getting their message across, and it's 24/7. You've got to, and so they're executing and they're playing at a high level. So I think that's the key, is that you have a complicated enough system, all right, that guys can execute, and good teachers can get that done.
Coach, speaking of simplicity and kind of execution, we talked to Coach Wade last week, and he talked about them running the same play at Georgia Tech 497 times, I think was the number. and he talked about, you know, just being able to do that one thing at a really, really high level. When you're facing a team like that, you know, you're helping run a defense, or you're running a defense as you have for many years, and you're facing a team like that, what are the challenges of a team that does like 2 or 3 things really, really well,
Iowa,
and executes them really, really well, versus a team that does a lot of different things? Maybe they don't execute it at a super high level, but you just never know what's coming. What does that look like from the other side of the ball when you're dealing with that?
Okay, I think there's a place for both. I think people with high volume of defense or offense have been successful, and then people with very little, like Damon, when we played you guys in the Rose Bowl, or in that Rose Bowl season that we had, you know, we ran like 2 defenses.
Yeah.
But we had really good players. Now, the defenses changed based on formation and backfield sets and stuff. The calls, you know, we had different calls within the same defense. But we were highly effective because we had really good players. I think the better your players are, the more simplistic you can be. And I like the way Iowa plays. That's how I was raised. Their physicality and how hard they play and how detailed they are. They're saying, hey, if you can beat us with what you do, what we do, then go ahead. But let's see if you can. And that's the type of football that, you know, that I grew up as a young coach, learning from the older coaches. Now, there's different ways to skin a cat. There's guys that run it like Buddy Ryan. Guys ran everything known to man. There was guys wide open, and he had all those zone pressures, but he was hitting the quarterback, and they couldn't throw the ball to him. Mm-hmm. So there's different ways to skin a cat. But I love the way Iowa plays. I think, and you know, that's who Coach Rhule is too. So, but I think you can win both ways.
Let me ask you something. On the defensive side, would you rather see Iowa's run scheme or USC's? I think USC's run scheme is fantastic. I love counter. I love the pulls. I like that Coach Wade is doing that. But there is also something to the monotony of kind of that zone, that track scheme that Iowa likes too. Like, can you educate our listeners on what it takes to defend both? Because I think the nuances are a little different.
They are, but okay. So in the National Football League, that outside zone you're talking about that Iowa runs, every team that leads the National Football League in rushing, that's their number one play. And the reason for that is all the blitzing and line movement. And the way you stop the run is that you hit people in the backfield. You get negative plays.
Knockback, yeah.
Yeah, well, the way you do that is not necessarily with playing across the line of scrimmage. You're penetrating the line of scrimmage, either by blitzing a linebacker, moving D lineman. And the outside zone, as you outside zone it, you can overtake the movement. Or you can run away from the movement and cut it off. So it kills all those pressure schemes. That's why the outside zone is so efficient, and it's the number one play in the National Football League to stop in the run game.
Walk me through SCs, because I'm
okay.
I like kind of the gap count. I like that style as well. And it's
okay. See, with SC, okay, they run counter OT. They pull the backside guard and tackle. That's their number one counter scheme. Now, they do pull a guard and have a tight end as the second puller. They do have that. But it's OT. And what happens with OT is it can leave you one short on the play side because there's too many on the backside. And in the old days, counter was always run with OT, just like SC's running it.
Yeah.
Well, what we all did is cut the first puller and make the second puller have to read what happens to the first puller and maneuver around it. Well, the tackles weren't athletic enough. So what happened was you ended up going away from the tackle as the backside puller and making it a tight end or a fullback. So he was athletic enough to adjust. Okay, so the way to stop that play, and the way, we played SC really well last year, held them the lowest totals, I think, all year in all the categories, is we cut the first puller.
Yeah.
And it eliminates the OT. But make no mistake about it now, SC runs the outside zone and runs it very well. So they also can run the outside zone, just like Iowa can run the gap schemes, which is the counter schemes. They also have that. So I think the good run teams have both. And when you guys were at Nebraska, Damon, you guys had both. So I'll give you an example. When you guys ran the gap schemes, the counters and stuff, if the end was inside, you went outside. If the end was outside, you went inside.
Yeah.
That's how you had both, where a lot of teams don't. They are an inside team or an outside team. So, and then you had also the perimeter run game. So I think if you're good, you do have the gap schemes and you have the outside zones. So so you'll see good run teams with both.
Let me ask you something, because you're really good from the top down. I know whether it's coaches or personnel or guys coming into the building, like just the wisdom. Help us understand because we do this. And it kind of drives me crazy, but I think it's mostly because we don't know the nuances. We use Temple as an example, or we use Baylor as an example, or we use Carolina as an example. And sometimes I think we forget about how fluid the college rules are becoming with player acquisition and the transfer portal and what you can or can't do. Yet we still talk about it as though it's linear, right? Oh, well, at Baylor it was this, or at Temple he did this. And what are we missing when it comes to navigating college football as you've looked at this program from your vantage point over the last 3 years?
Well, I one of the issues with the NIL, so when I left college football, there was no NIL.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there was no portal, there was none of it. So now that we're back, you're going to add anywhere from 15 to 25 new players and maybe 30, right? It's down now to 105. Okay, so and you brought up earlier about the development of your players.
Yeah.
You've got to develop the players that stay in the program, but then you also have to go out and get the right fit in the portal.
Yeah.
And so this thing right now is, and again, you can still coach the guys and get them better in a year if you only have them for a year. Okay, you can still do that, and then a great example of that is Indiana. They have done a great job with the portal, and their players play the way they're supposed to play. So you can get it done. But to compare what Matt did at Temple and at Baylor, I think that's a waste of time today because everything has changed, right? So. We've got to get the formula, all right, to compete for this championship in this league. And it's like people talk about our schedule this year, and it makes me mad. If you're going to win Big Ten, don't you got to beat Ohio State? You got to beat Oregon. You got to beat Indiana.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you have to do. So, and everywhere we've been together, I've been with Matt. We have started at the bottom, and at the end we were beating those teams that were winning the league. So that's what we got to do here, and hopefully that we'll get a good start on that this year.
Let me ask you something. I wouldn't call. He's definitely not cheap, but he's very fiscally savvy. I think Pat is incredible, and there's like this personality when you guys are recruiting and you're looking at players. He just strikes me as the type of guy. I look at the cars Bryant drive, like it's never new or the biggest he's just not like that. You think there's a conflict in terms of like his work ethic and paying money versus bringing in young guys, and you got to talk about 2-year deals and how much are they going to pay? Like it's clearly not fun. He's got to adjust. How do you see that process going as Nebraska tries to navigate the outside world, trying to assess how you're recruiting?
Well, I think you still have to recruit enough high school guys and develop them. And your base has got to be the high school kids, the young kids. And then what you have to do, and it's no different than we did in the old days. We would say, okay, what does our team need? Well, we need these 6 players at these positions. We went to the junior college level and got them. Just like you did at Nebraska when you were here. You had junior college kids come in, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's at a higher level now. You have more people leaving, coming and going. So now you're talking about 15 to 20 players that you have to do that with. But I still think that the recruiting process has to be one with your high school players. And I think Coach Rhule believes that, and I think a lot of people do.
What do you make of the success rate of it, like the 83% retention? Like guys don't want to leave the program. Like from your vantage point, why is that?
Well, first of all, our facilities are unbelievable. And then the people that we have working in the facilities are unbelievable. Our strength coach, our nutritionist, our psychologist, it just goes on and on and on and on. And I think these people, they have a terrific facility. They treat people the right way. And so I think the players are happy here. Now, but with that said, we got to get this thing over the hump and win football games. So, and so we've got to get that done. And I think that's why people aren't leaving. I think it's a real good place to be because of the people involved in the facility.
Coach, when you're looking at whether it's high school kids, transfers, assuming there's the base level of talent that you need to compete at this level, what's your non-negotiable? Like what's number one on the list of like, they have to have this?
Well, okay. There's 2 things I think that you have to have. One is enough talent, but you also have to have the love of what you're doing. I don't think you can ever get anybody real good if they don't love what they're doing. If they're doing it because they're good at it or for other reasons. But so the catch-22 to that is that you have to determine, is the kid good enough that has those traits that you love about loving football? And if they are good enough, then you can really develop them into a great player. And if you look at like Indiana's draft, now I know that the number 1 pick was a quarterback, but if you look at all the other draft picks, a lot of them were in the 2nd and 3rd day. Would you guys agree with that? Their draft picks?
Yeah.
Well, they're guys that love football that had enough talent. They weren't overly talented, but they had enough talent that they could develop and they do the right things, all right, and win football games and not beat themselves. And so that's the catch-22. So you got to have really good players, but you also have to have players that love football and have a desire that want to play at the next level. So those are the things that are conflicting as you go into recruiting a player.
So let me ask you this as a follow-up, because I think in my mind I was thinking maybe you'd answer something about like toughness or competitiveness or things like that. Do you think that love for football is the thing that underlies all of that and makes you a better competitor, that makes you tougher? Because we don't usually equate, hey, they really love the game, they must be super tough. But do you tie those things together more closely?
Yeah, I think the people that love football is that you can get them better at everything. I heard Tony Dungy talk at a clinic, and he says, your corners don't have to be killers now. They got to be tacklers. Each position has a set of things they have to get done, right? Well, I think if a guy loves football and he's not a great tackler, I can get him to tackle at a level that you can win at because he really loves it, what he does. And people that love what they do, they also, a lot of them, are doing things for their teammates. They respect the team, they love the team, and I'm not going to let my teammates down. And so I think that love of football can bring a lot of things out of people. And I think, Damon, you were talking about earlier on the show, I was listening to you about if you don't love what you're doing, it's hard to come to work, right? And be really good at what you do.
Yeah.
And so you can get people that love what they do to do a lot of really good things.
Let me ask you about, you guys are so competitive. Like I get, I don't get here and want to spill all the tea, but the staff is competitive, right? You're competitive with one another. You're competitive with the players. You make everything a competition. I love that. You have to be able to tell the guys, hey, we need to get better. We're better than we were, but it's not where we want to be. Right? You don't want them back-to-back bowls. You can say it hasn't been done, but it's still not where you want to be, right?
Yep.
How are you, what's that like for guys receiving that whole kind of stay on the gas message when you know that you're actually making progress?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we really have a problem with is we talk about the winning and losing instead of the process. I don't know if you guys like golf, but I listen to the golfers and they talk about, I don't think about winning. I think about doing this process so I can get better. And if I get better, guess what's going to happen at the end? I'm going to win. And so that's what we're preaching is the process. If you keep doing this at a high level and get 1% better every day, then this thing is going to turn around and we're going to be at the level that we want to be at. So it's not winning and losing, it's the process. Do the process at a high level and get better every single day, and you have a chance to play to your ability. And if a team plays at their ability, whatever happens, you can live with.
Coach, if there was one thing that you wish, whether it's the outside media, whether it's the fan base, whether it's recruits that are considering coming to Nebraska, if there was one thing that you could tell them that you wish people understood better about your guys' process, what would it be?
That it works. I'll give you an example. We had 41 players in the 4 years I was at Temple playing the National Football League. Well, that's unheard of, right? Mm-hmm. We went to Baylor, and they didn't have any pro football players when we went there on defense. And when we left, there was a bunch of second and third round draft picks. So the process will help you develop into the player that you want to be. And so it's proven. But there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, and you've got to keep the state of the course. And once they learn that and start really growing, and Damon, I don't know if you've seen a difference in Caleb in the last year. I have in that.
So that's funny, and I hate using him as an example because he's my kid. But one of the things that I've definitely seen is the work ethic, right? It's he went 21.8 or whatever, and that wasn't good enough, right? It's getting to 22 mile an hour. You know, he got the black shirt in Matt drills, but he's looking for a different kind of black shirt. He's learning. He's getting up to go work out on off days, trying to find the best guys that he can work out with. Because I think now it's not so much he's afraid to be out of shape. It's that he doesn't want to not be doing his part, right? Like and I know people look at the draft. They're gonna look at the last 3 years. And they're gonna say, "Oh man, you know, Nebraska's not putting enough guys in the draft. Nebraska's not putting enough guys in the draft." And I'm thinking, with the bulk of your roster and so few as seniors, that time is going to pop. I think the trick is how do you get the guys to the point where they believe what you just said, the process works, right? Because you're going into year 4. People want to put constraints on it. But you know, with where the bulk of your roster is with those redshirt freshmen and juniors, that time you hope is coming.
Yeah. Well, okay. So when Matt first got here, he had to battle the old cultures that were here with his players, right? Well, now, and I think, Damon, you can attest to this more. You have got a kid on the team playing. I think we have a lot of players like Caleb that we have been their coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting like the Rex Guthries and this, like Jeremiah Charles, how much he improved this spring. It's unbelievable. And the kid's really talented, right? Well, things are starting to click in these young players because they're in a process that I think they believe in. Mm. So if they can block out the outside noise, which, you know, you get a lot of negative pub and all, you know, block out all that and just keep listening and do the process. I think these players are seeing that it works. So now these players are all the guys that Matt has recruited. So I think you're going to see a change in how all that is developing, and then hopefully the new players that come in the portal and the NIL stuff, that they buy into it and add to it because of who they are.
How much of a process? It sometimes can be tedious while you're waiting for guys to say yes, and hopefully you're not losing out to the highest bidders, because I know sometimes fans get disappointed, but that's not really the guys you want representing you, right? Where it boiled down to an extra $400,000 or $500,000, but you get the reality of it too, right? There's the practical application of getting while the getting's good. How much of that message do you have to keep permeating through your guys? Like, hey, the money will come. We're just not going to compromise who we want in this culture.
Yeah, I think based on, if you look at our roster and how much money they've made in the last year, players that didn't make any money, now they're making money. I think that they can see that if they just keep doing the right things in this program, that the program will take care of them. And so, you know, that's what it's all about. If they can see that, they're going to stay.
How important is it, because this is the first time I've seen it for this long, that you've actually have so much football on tape, and you've gone through lifting, you kind of reverse the winter and the spring with how early you did the spring, that you have 4 months of OTAs. That's kind of cool. Coach Wade was ecstatic about it. I know the staff gets the guys more. I said, this is the most important 4 months that I can remember, because it's such a long period of time with having actual real football already in the film bank.
Yeah, we've never done spring ball this early, and I wouldn't do it any other way now. It reminds me, I'm serious, it reminds me now of the NFL, because, you know, NFL has phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And that's basically, we got done with, a lot of times when you get done with spring football, the coaches go recruiting and the players are done with school and are gone for 3 or 4 weeks. And you don't really get through the spring practice tapes and really correct everything. You don't have time because they're gone, coaches and players. Well, we had a whole month to really watch those tapes and evaluate those tapes as players and coaches. Then in that, we had actually more than a month to continue with them, and then obviously this summer. So I think it's I'm not sure I'd do it any other way. I thought when we first did it, I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know where this was going to go, right? But I think everybody on our staff really liked it, because we're with the players more and being able to teach them more.
Can you think of what you would maybe enhance or tinker or even change, I guess, on the front end of the lifting regiment
if you're going to start spring that early?
Well, I think Corey did a nice job because we had very few injuries in spring football, which that's what I was worried about. Is they're coming back and that soft tissue, all that soft tissue stuff. But I think the way we practiced early and what they did in the weight room really helped. Now, and there's a lot more time to get these guys stronger before the season, not before spring football. So there's some real pluses to doing it early, which anytime you do something new, you're always hesitant about, right? But I think this has been a good change.
I'm always surprised, and I'm like this too. So this isn't revisionist history. And I think your guys are getting better because some of it is mandatory. But are you surprised how more people don't take advantage of actual recovery time and how to do active rest by actually taking care of their bodies? It seems like the facility now is more conducive to keeping guys around versus getting a to-go meal and getting out of there.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you're young, you think you're invincible. You don't need all that stuff, right? When you're a freshman, I mean, you've never had it, so you don't think you need it. But the older players, they look at them and say, "Why are you in that red light deal? Why are you in the hot tub? Why are you in the sauna and in the hot cold?" And so the older players said, "Hey, dude, you better start doing it now. You'll feel a lot better. I wish I would have done it." So, in the National Football League, if you talk to those guys, the reason the guys play a long time today, probably longer than they did in the past, is because of all that stuff. And there's nothing we don't have. We have sleep beds. It's crazy. If you want to take care of your body, come to Nebraska.
Coach, kind of a weird question, but you're talking about kind of the weight room and the way things go. And it started making me think about kind of the mentality of players. If you could get a glimpse, say you're recruiting a kid and you're trying to decide, hey, is he a good fit for Nebraska? If you could get a glimpse of him either in the weight room, the classroom, or out with their friends, which one do you think tells you the most of whether or not they're going to be a good fit here or not?
That's a great question.
That he's not very smart. It's an okay question.
I would still go back to, and I really think that you cannot be good at anything unless you love it. So your question is, I would find out if they love football. And there's a lot of different ways of doing that, but that's the number one thing I think I would find out. Do you love football?
That's interesting. A lighter note, but not a lighter note. I said a couple times, obviously, my relationship with Coach Rhule, and there are times that I just check on him, right? Hey, you good? Let's grab something. And he's got this little kind of sensitive detector that goes off. Like, I remember one time I asked him at practice, I was like, "Hey man, you good?" And he was like, yeah, I'm good. And he came back about 2 minutes later. I'm sitting over there and he goes, "Hey, you ain't giving me any of that pity party shit, are you?" And I was like, "No, I'm just asking." He goes, "All right, yeah, we're good." You've been around him a ton. How do you make sure? Because everybody needs somebody, right? It's tough. How do you check on him, knowing his personality, that he's kind of just a push through it, plow through it kind of guy?
Well, I've known Matt for so long. When he comes in the morning, I know what kind of night he's had. That's what coaches do, right? We kind of evaluate. When you recruit a player or coach a player, when they walk in to your meeting room, I know exactly if they're doing good or not doing good. And so I've been around Matt that long. So we can sit down and have a conversation if he needs it. But I'm telling you, being a head football coach is a hard job in college football right now. I mean, it's crazy, and I don't know if it's going to change here. I'm
at a high school, and obviously where guys get recruited, and I listen to what guys say and kind of what they're looking for. And it may be too soon, Coach, because this hasn't played out yet with the money and stuff. But I hear coaches seemingly more interested in what you're talking about, the love,
like the toughness than how much they're willing to pay. Because, I mean, let's be honest. You guys don't want to be giving out 2-year contracts to freshmen that are unproven, and you want to structure deals correctly. So when because you want a little return, right? So like, do you think there's kind of this collective? We hear Kirby Smart talk about it all the time. I couldn't believe Georgia was out in front of, hey, listen, man, you're out here chasing money. You got the wrong school. Like he's been very animate, and maybe they can do that because they're Georgia, but at least he's saying it out loud. Because at the end of the day, coaches don't really. It's NIL's fine, but you don't really want to be worrying about a young guy making X amount of money, thinking that there's this amount of entitlement. You got to walk me through what that balance is like, trying to play in both worlds.
Well, here's the deal that how I see it is that in the National Football League, when we take a guy in the first or second round, he comes in, he's starter. There's no debate or competition or, I mean, the GM's going to come in and say, I drafted this guy in the first round, he's starting. You know that, right? If you have him second team, right? So when I was in the NFL, every first rounder, he was first team, first day of practice. Well, if you're going to pay a freshman a lot of money, same thing's got to happen. You got to say that he is going to come in and play right away. You can't have $5 to $1 million, $1 million player sitting on a bench. That's just not going to work. So if you're going to pay freshmen that kind of money, then they got to play.
That kind of money?
What's that?
Can you not pay freshmen that kind of money?
Oh, that's what it is now. The good players, the freshmen, it's crazy what they're making right now versus even 2 years ago. It's crazy. But if you take one, they have to play. Otherwise, you've got a lot of money sitting on the bench, and I'm not sure that you can survive that way.
Coach, fantastic stuff. DB, you got any more? You good?
No, I listen. We talking. Next time, I'm doing more X's and O's though, because we're gonna play some more. We're gonna play a different front this year some of the time, and I'm out of my comfort zone, man. So I'm gonna get stretched. I may be in your office quite a bit.
I got a grease board.
I know you do.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll chat again soon, okay?
Thank you, man. Have a great day.
I appreciate it, Coach.
That is Associate Head Coach Phil Snow from Nebraska
still
football.
calls it a grease board.
You love it. You got to. You know?
Nobody says that anymore.
That's all right. At least it's not like a chalkboard. You know what I mean?
No. I would have even taken dry erase board.
Say grease board. I know what he meant.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break here, and by quick break, I mean after an hour, so somebody doesn't murder me here.
Is Austin a murderer?
No, I don't know. I just been getting some text messages from like Sasha and Shane, and not really sure. So we're gonna take a break. Hey, we're on time. That's DB. Oh, also Luke Fox has to reschedule. So,
oh yeah, we got plenty of time.
That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time for Stars, Stripes, and Savings at Edwards Chevrolet. Save $12,000 off MSRP on the 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 RST, a truck deal worth celebrating. 2 Chevys, 2 ways to save, this May only. We've also got the 2026 Chevrolet Trax 1RS starting at $299 a month. Don't wait. Get in on Stars, Stripes, and Savings this May at Edwards Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
I'm feeling pretty stoked. Again, as Kelsey said, this is all for God's glory. I mean, it's been almost 2 years since I had a medal at Big Ten, so this is a really big breakthrough for me, so I'm just grateful, and all glory to God. So,
competing on our home track, I think we have a big advantage, especially with this high wind. We practice in this weather all the time, and so I kind of told Aubrielle before we went, like, this is just another day for us. This is another practice on our track. So let's just give it all out there. So, yeah.
For both of you, I mean, can you talk about the other and how much you guys push each other in practice to get to a competition like this and perform the way that you did?
Absolutely. It was really hard for these first 2 years practicing by myself. I had no other teammate to push me. So with Kelsey being healthy and we've been able to push each other, it's helped me in so many different ways. So I think we're all also just able to build off of each other. So
yeah, I agree. She chases me, and we have James. I chase James, and so it's just a little competition every day in practice. And so we all just push each other to get better. And we're just a little hurdle group. That's all. When you finish races and you have these big crowds coming at you, and it just makes the win so much more just heartfelt and close to home. I mean, we're at home, but having the people makes it even better, I think.
Michael Benedictine is now into the Class D semifinals. How does this one feel, especially after that weather delay and then going into extras?
Yeah, we told the guys that there's going to be some hard-fought games. We're going to have to find ways to grind out some tough ones, and this definitely was. With the weather delay and everything else, and a really good opponent, I had to grind that one out.
Your team has been on fire to start some of these state tournament games. You get out early in front of your opponents. What's led to that early confidence?
I wish I could tell you. We struggled for a lot of the season getting off to good starts. And lately, the work that guys have been putting in throughout the year is starting to pay off, and we've been able to put up some runs and put pressure on teams early on in games, and definitely puts us in a better spot moving forward.
Did you notice a turn in the season that's led to your guys' success, especially here in the tournament?
We saw guys on the verge throughout, and there were a lot of instances where we were just missing that one piece. And as things started to come together, guys continued to work and grind away and make adjustments. We knew it was coming close. It was just a matter of, are we going to have enough season to see it to fruition? And it's showing up at the right time.
It's time for Stars, Stripes, and Savings at Edwards Nissan. Lease the 2026 Nissan Rogue Platinum starting at $349 a month. A platinum lease for less this May. 2 Nissans, 2 great deals. Only at Edwards. We've also got the 2026 Nissan Pathfinder SV starting at $399 a month. Another win for May. Don't wait. Get in on Stars, Stripes, and Savings this May at Edwards Nissan.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DBM Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We're brought to you by Next Gen Male Medical. Want to thank Coach Snow for all of his time. And want to remind you that Union Omaha Soccer is back. They are at Morrison Stadium this year, and they will be at home May 23rd at 7 p.m. Get there early. First 500 fans will receive a collapsible pet bowl courtesy of Ralston Vet, who is the sponsor of that night. It's May 23rd. Make sure you get to Union Omaha and get those tickets. One city, one club, one means all. May 23rd at 7 p.m. for Union Omaha. No, that was really good stuff there from Coach No. I appreciate him giving us like an hour.
Yeah.
Ish.
Good dude. Got his hands full. I'm hoping. I don't know if this is even feasible, but I'm like torn. Like I want Nebraska to have as many good players as possible. Obviously, I just hope that there's a way, like, because all these guys want 2-year deals now. Like I'm not telling you anything that isn't.
No,
I mean I've talked to 20 college coaches at the Power 4 level. Like freshmen want 2-year deals.
Yeah.
That's hard. That's hard to sign off on, and I'm hoping Nebraska, and Pat's super smart, so I like, and his man. I hope at some point it's incentive based, at least like year 2.
Sure.
Like tied to playing time.
Yeah, that's going to be the hard part about,
because we want all these players, but I mean, is that really what you want?
Yeah, so it's going to be the hard part about being a developmental program in the same way.
Well, so we keep saying that. Let me challenge you to this. When you have 83% roster retention, you can still develop.
For sure. That's not what I mean. What I mean is I think it's really challenging to what Coach Snow said about, hey, if you have to pay these guys to get them in the door and you have to pay them for 2 years, then you don't really get the opportunity to give them time, right?
Yeah.
Your hand gets forced in terms of, hey, we can't afford to have X amount of money on the bench, right? So that's the part that I think makes the developmental, because yeah, if I'm getting paid well, I'm getting treated well, I like everybody I'm around, then I do think the retention is a huge part of it. But retention, I think, is part of the developmental part. But just because you're retaining doesn't mean you're developing.
Let me ask you something. You think Nebraska can get players because we hear, oh, they're this ranking or they're that ranking or this is how, and we don't know poop from Shinola, right? We just say, hey, this is the 25th rank, like, and then we'll correlate that to development, regardless of whether we think the rankings are actually that accurate or not, right? I'll give you a perfect example. I have to be able to immediately pit what I think about Justin Parrish Jr. versus all the offers he has. I have to immediately pit what I think, how good I think Torrey Pittman is versus
Pittman's the one I thought of
the offers out there, right? Guys that I see all the time, but the perception is, and guys do this. This is partly our fault, right? Where we'll get behind one of these things and we'll say, "Hey, they had the such and such ranked class," and just say that's all you have to go by, because you really don't know what those players are. You just know what they told us they'll be, right? All these 4- and 5-star quarterbacks that don't pan out. And we know this is the case.
Yeah, which is a lot of them.
But we still use it as like this point of discussion. Like we know what the frick we're talking about. We don't. So, and I'm cool with that. I'm not saying everybody has to like know $1 million arm or the best up and coming 16-year-olds. Just don't come off as though you're going to use that as a case for or a case against. It's a relatively arbitrary system. And we're going to talk to a guy that does this, right? I mean,
Steve Merrick.
Well, we're going to talk to Steve Merrick.
We're going to
talk to Sean Callahan. He'll be on this week. Like, and those guys know how I feel about. I look at the top 10 rankings of guys ranked in the state, and I'm like, you guys, come on. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to say.
Yeah.
But so I understand the industry. What I hate is we weaponize it
against coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we weaponize it.
Oh, you brought in this and you didn't win X amount, so you must be a bad coach.
And it's not just here.
No, everywhere. Or
right?
You didn't bring in a good class. Or...
I'll give you a prime example.
Yeah.
I hate to use them, but they're good at what they do. Do you think Iowa cares about what numbers assigned to their recruiting class?
No.
They don't. You think Brett Bielema cares about what numbers assigned to his recruiting class?
No.
But this is what we'll say. If those teams win or they put guys in the league, it's a case for and a case against. You know what nobody ever talks about?
Maybe the rankings were wrong.
so I try not, even though in my heart of hearts, I feel like that. I can't always have that discussion with people.
Okay.
Right? Like you and I couldn't really have that discussion because I don't know if you not only care enough to get into watching the film, but we could disagree on how we assess it too.
Sure. Yeah. Even if you're both watching the same thing, you might look at it differently.
So I tried not to get into that.
So real quick on that before when I say wrong, I don't necessarily mean like black and white, right and wrong. What I mean sometimes is I think people don't realize how they're not.
Do you want me to give you a fair example?
Sure.
This is what we do. And I think I was maybe the only one to outwardly say this. Dylan Raiola's star ascent was too fast.
Yes. Yeah, you did say that.
Right? We were we were upstairs. We had the one show, we had couple shows where we were here, and they were fairly, this was, oh God, I think he was talking about this coach. And I was trying to put 2 and 2 together about players and stuff. Remember that?
Kind of after the injury.
Yeah, it was like these hot takes.
Pre-end of the season.
And I had talked to his dad 1,000 times, right? So it's like, he and I could have that conversation where, listen, he's still learning to play quarterback.
Yeah.
It's very green. And then new schools and a new coordinator. And then it went from 4-star to 5-star. So the upside to that is it's fun to be able to negotiate and navigate from that spot. You don't often think about, oh, now I got to live up to it. Did I earn it? How did it happen? The rankings happened fast.
Sure.
Right? So this is what we say. Even though we hate on him as a player sometimes as a fan, oh, Dylan was this or he wasn't that. It's we couldn't take advantage of a 5-star. So we talk out of both sides of our mouth, depending whether that's why I don't like having the discussions. Do you know what it needs to center around? And he's a beautiful example. You know what it needs to center around?
I mean, for Dylan, I think fit. Yeah.
It's for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not just for Dylan.
No, but that's a really stark example of it.
It's Iowa could give 2 bleeps about 45th versus 21st because they're our guys. They fit what we want to do. We heard the anonymous coaches at Illinois, really good evaluators, because of the fit.
Yeah.
But what do we want to do? We don't want to sell our souls to the devil and pay $1.5 million for a player and hear that he has to start and be cool with that. But then we want to turn around and say, oh my God, you're 279th in recruiting. Right? So I try to ask the questions about how you play in both worlds. Because you want fiscal spending like I think Nebraska's doing, but they better be right about it's. You have to fit before it gets developed.
Yeah.
It has to be somebody that can work in the program with what you want to see. That's why I said they needed to tweak a few guys in the building. Or when you're recruiting, you need to start recruiting more players that fit what your ideology is. All I've heard the last 8 months is he's like, DB, I want guys that I want competitive guys, and I want guys that love football. I don't care about anything else. That's how he feels. Cool. I rock with you. I like that. Those are the guys you better go get.
Yeah.
Those are the guys you better go get. So the minute they come back to you, maybe not the minute, you have to play it out. And I'm not saying I want to do the job because it's a fine line. You want really good players, but if a guy comes back to you and says, "Hey, man, I just talked to such and such, and it's going to cost another, $420,000," man, GTFO, right?
Yeah.
Like that. Now, how long would I be able to function like that? Probably not very long. But I'm telling you, I'm going to be like that more times than I'm not. I guarantee God dang to you, because I need to find and they're out there. I'm telling you, they're out there. There are enough people that just love playing ball where if you love it enough and you're at a certain level of benchmark of talent, you'll beat the guys that are in it for money. Guaranteed in this sport. Yeah, now it's we don't know how we feel about Indiana. First, it was, oh man, they got Cuban and it's this, and then they lie or they are a little ambiguous about what the actual number is, and then we float that around. Well, rumor has it Indiana only had a $15 million roster. Okay, okay, sure, right. So then to them, it's well, they didn't even have to pay that much money, and they won. How much of the 2-year guys that they're taking to James Madison did you think that they had to pay for?
Yeah, not hardly any.
Like, we're so disingenuous about the discussion. And that's not to take anything away from the blueprint, but that's why I say one of one.
It's a very unique situation and a very unique personality leading that situation.
So, like, you got to give him his due. That's why I always like using, and people get mad, but I like Ferentz. I like Fleck. I like Bielema. You know what? Because they have non-negotiables. They just do. Now, and I get it because I know what Coach Ferentz would say. I'm certainly glad I don't live in a state like Nebraska where I think the expectation levels and where we're at capability-wise never seem to mesh. I know that eats you guys up. I'm telling you, sure as I'm sitting here, he would say that. We don't care though. We just want to win. So it's like, but it's a real thing.
Can I ask you a question about the teams?
You can ask me anything you want to.
The teams that we think are great evaluators, right? So Illinois, Minnesota, Iowa in the conference.
You talking about just in the conference?
Anywhere in the country.
Okay.
Anywhere.
Notre Dame.
Anywhere in any sport, in any league.
Okay.
Do you know of anyone that you consider, or any team that you consistently consider a great evaluator that you don't know exactly their identity?
Yes.
Who?
I'll give you one right off the top.
That you don't know their identity, but you think they're great evaluators.
Yep.
Who?
Alabama. How does Alabama want to play? Look, watch their secondary. Their secondary this year has elite level talent.
Okay.
That wide receiving room is elite on paper.
Okay.
I don't know how they want to play.
Okay.
I don't. What's Alabama's? They couldn't run the ball last year.
Okay. Do you think Alabama is an outlier in that conversation? Great evaluators that don't know how they want to play.
Let me ask you another one.
Okay.
And this may catch up with them. I don't know, but they win so many games.
I think it might catch up with Alabama too, to be fair. But I also think
who is Oregon on offense?
For what it's worth, I also think Alabama's sort of in a, and maybe Oregon too. Maybe I should have narrowed the scope here. I think those teams are maybe in a little bit different type of position than some of the teams we're talking about being great evaluators, but I'll allow it because I opened it up to everybody. I would agree. I don't think Oregon has a really great sense of who they want to be on offense.
And I think it catches up with them in the like versus Oregon's roster this year. They should be able to play however the frick they want to.
Sure.
I mean, that front's like,
is there
that roster is sensational.
Is there a difference between being a great evaluator and just having access to almost whatever talent you want?
It sounds like Ohio State at first blush.
So when you're talking about Alabama, Ohio State, Oregon, I think actually Ohio State's probably out of those three the best evaluators in terms of But I also think I know how Ohio State wants to play.
Yeah, but how hard is it when, like, if you give me you give me some of these guys they're recruit, like, how hard is it?
So that's what I mean in terms of access to talent versus being great evaluators. Because Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon can kind of go out and get whoever they want for the most part.
Give me, okay, fair.
So is there a team that you don't feel like has that access to whoever that you think is a great evaluator that doesn't know who they are and who they want to be?
That's a good question.
Go ahead.
Maybe Texas Tech.
Okay. You would consider them great evaluators.
They get a lot of good players, but I don't know if that's because they can just get good players.
To me,
I think Jacob Rodriguez is a good testament to.
That's a good eval.
Yeah,
that's a really good eval.
That's a great eval.
I do think most of the guys they get, it's about the money.
You know, I think's got a ton of depth.
Who?
And they're flying. I think they're flying under the radar.
Who?
Michigan.
Sure.
I think Michigan knows who they want to be.
Yeah. Michigan's got a great identity, though. Especially under Harbaugh. I think it kind of wavered under Moore a little bit, but the identity under Whittingham is going to be unambiguous for sure. That's part of the reason I like Whittingham. The reason I'm asking you these questions.
Okay. I'll give you one.
Okay.
And he's under scrutiny.
Yeah.
How about Southern Cal?
Yeah. Somebody in the David Jenner just said Lincoln Riley.
Like, who's Southern Cal?
You know who they want to be on offense, though.
Do I?
I mean, you talk about their counter game all the time. You talk about.
I don't think they just want to line up and run the ball, though.
No, but
They should.
I think that he has a really good idea who he wants to be offensively. Defensively, sure. No qualms about that. I think offensively, Lincoln Riley knows exactly who he wants to be. I think he tweaks a little bit based on personnel. But I think he knows, like, if I'm thinking of Lincoln Riley offense, I feel like I know what I'm getting.
Maybe Missouri. They're out there.
Fair. The reason I asked this question is my argument would be that most teams that are great evaluators know exactly what the finished product is supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really hard to do without having firm identity, right? So that's, to me, where it starts. And I don't just mean identity in terms of scheme, although that's part of it. I also think identity in terms of temperament, right? What type of person, what type of player?
I have examples of what you're talking about Nebraska baseball. You're talking about Nebraska basketball.
I'm talking about Iowa football. Let's be honest.
Football.
I'm talking about Iowa football.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, for a long time, I know people hate this, Creighton basketball. I knew exactly what a Creighton basketball player looked like for a really long time, right? And I knew none of them played for the team last year. Like, they just didn't. None of those guys really looked like Creighton basketball players, right? I feel like I'm starting to get an idea of what a Nebraska basketball player is supposed to look like under Hoiberg. I thought early I had no idea how they wanted to play, right? Even though they had talented players. Like, whether you want to do like Glenn Watson, Teddy Allen, Alonzo Verge, Delano Banton, like, pick a guy. They had talented players. They had no idea how they wanted to play basketball. They know how they want to play basketball. Now, I would argue their players are maybe a little less talented on the whole individually, and they're in a much better spot in terms of. So the reason I kind of harp on the identity thing is, if you know that part of it, what's one of my favorite things? I haven't said it in a while, but if you ask a 5-star fish to climb a tree, he's not going to look like he can play.
Yeah.
Right. If you have to know what you want the 5-star.
No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all.
So I think we start there in terms of grade evals.
But it still boils down to the F word.
Yeah, fit identity. Like, you have to fit within the identity. That's kind of what I mean.
Yeah, well, I mean, identity is fit, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Because you know if they fit, because you know what it's supposed to look like.
Right. That's why I asked, because if you can't figure out if they fit or not, it doesn't matter how good your eye is in terms of like, oh, that guy can play football. If you don't know what the fit is, because you don't know what the fit is supposed to be, you're just not going to be successful. I think that's the biggest argument about, Nebraska. I mean, famously, Nebraska out-recruited, until the transfer portal stuff made everything kind of weird in terms of rankings. Nebraska out-recruited Nebraska or Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, all these teams that they would lose to every year. They out-recruited them every single year.
You know what I think is interesting? And this isn't, I think it's a little premature to be, with Nebraska's youth, to be throwing out what we think about their development already.
I would agree. That's why
we're so willy-nilly.
The draft thing pissed me off a lot. I was like, none of the guys that are going to be good are eligible to be drafted right now.
It's like,
would you be stunned if Pritchard is a first-round pick next year?
No,
not at all. Right? Like I would bet on him.
I mean, I clearly think, I mean, he's a top 3 round draft pick.
I would say I would bet on him today being a first 2-day draft pick. Just full stop,
I mean,
whatever terms you wanted, I would bet on that today.
And, the funny thing about using him is you have to credit development, even though he was highly touted.
Because Alabama wanted to run him out of town.
And we hated on that dude when he first got here. We were saying waste of money.
Yes. Like, listen to what people said the first half of the season.
But I mean,
now the talent was there, but he wasn't what he is now. He wasn't what he was the second half of the season when he got here. Like I said, Alabama couldn't wait to get. I read everything Alabama had to say about Elijah when he was out of town, and they're like, "Oh God, yeah, he started, but he was terrible." Right? He had his PFF grades were bad. Everything was bad with Pritchett. Like just terrible.
Like somebody has to get credit for Ty Robinson, right?
I would think so. And Nash Hutmacher and Luke Reimer.
I'm just talking about guys that are like playing in the NFL.
Sure. I mean, Nash just switched to guards. I don't know how that's going to, I mean, whatever that is. But, I mean, Reimer made a roster, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did anybody think Reimer was going to make a roster when Rhule got here?
Yeah.
You did, but.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We couldn't wait to get rid of Ty Robinson. We're like, oh, well, he's not any good. We couldn't wait to get rid of Bryce Benhart. I know he's not playing, but Benhart turned into a very good tackle.
Yeah.
We would have driven him to the Lincoln Airport to get him out of town. Right?
I don't know.
There was one person on the planet that Gunnar Gatula could play, and he lives in St. Louis, Missouri now.
Well, it's going to be fascinating because the bulk of your roster is in those formidable years, as I would call them.
Yeah.
I had a lot of redshirt freshmen and juniors on that roster.
I would be stunned if 2 years from now we're not having a very different conversation about NFL draftees.
Well, if they're gonna win, they have to.
Yeah.
But because it's just hard to find programs that get a lot of guys drafted that don't win a lot.
Because there's a few things there. Number one,
you don't get the benefit of the doubt.
You don't get the benefit of the doubt. You just simply don't get as many eyeballs on you.
Yeah.
And also, I do think people, you remember Randy Shannon when he was at Miami?
Oh, yeah.
So he had this philosophy, and it didn't work out for him.
Flame.
But I actually kind of liked it. Is he only recruited guys that were state champions? Like that was his philosophy for like 2 years. Is only recruit guys that are state champions. There's something about recruiting guys that already know how to win because
I remember towards the end of Coach Frost's tenure, he thought a lot of the same. He wanted winners around the program.
Yeah. And it was too far gone for him at that point.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Was what it was. But like there is something to, and especially at the NFL level where I just don't think you don't have time to waste on teaching a guy how to be a winner.
Yeah. I only said that because, I think, I'm not going to use the term fair or unfair, but we usually only talk about the bad things with Coach Frost, and it wasn't always like that. And I'm not just defending him because I think I'm privy to some things that,
sure,
like I know that was important to him.
I'm not going to sit here, and obviously nobody's harder on Frost than I am, and that's fine.
Yeah. And I don't want to turn this into a
no. I'm
not just saying like that's why it's like
I'm not going to sit here and tell you
there was some good there too.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that there was nothing that he did that was positive. I think, obviously he's got a certain level of aptitude and ability as an offensive mind that warranted some of the things that we thought about him. Like that's unequivocal. I think there was too much bad for the good to work.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's a severe, there's a lot. I get
that's a different conversation. That's not to say there is no good.
Yeah, you sound a lot like career.
I don't know how I feel about that, but,
I think we're not willing to acknowledge, and I think it's just more out of ignorance. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that it's ignorance and not intentionally just being dicks about it because maybe we don't know enough about what the fit is or it should look like, but we just casually use the fit and development thing interchangeably, like we remotely know what we're talking about. Well, we just see the end product.
It's like a lot of things. We use the things that we think fit our narrative. And so
And I mean, I don't. Can you have more NFL caliber type guys and not win more games? I don't think so.
No, not if you think all the other things about the coaching staff that I believe are true, right?
So if you
About
know
the
what
way
you
they go
want,
about
if
their
you know
business.
what you want this to look like,
Mhm.
right? You get a sense what you want the O-line to look like.
Yeah.
I think I have a sense what they want the linebacking core to look like.
Mhm.
Right? I think I understand what they want the wide receiving core to look like.
You think you know what they want the D-line to look like?
Yeah. I do, but it's kind of new.
Yeah,
You're
so-
really in only the second year of doing it.
Mhm. And you have a different coach in there.
So, I mean, that's to see the fruits of it.
Sure.
I think I know.
But
how
you
they
know
want-
what- but you know
I
what
think
you
I know how
want it
they
to
want
look
to.
like.
I think between Orich and Corey Brown, I think I know how they want to play.
Mhm.
So that'll help me whether I can actually say whether they're developing or not.
So if you think you think they know what they want the quarterback to look like
I do. I think they got a glimpse
with TJ?
Yep.
At the end of the year where they're like,
When he
"Oh."
was healthy and they wanted to do a few more things like against UCLA.
And that looked good.
And which is why you looked at a Minchie, which is why you looked at a Calandria. Like, I think I know.
They looked at a specific type of guy.
I think I know what they want that position to look like.
You think you think they know what they want the running backs to look like?
So do you know why I give running backs grace in terms of the looks?
Because there's a lot of ways to get it done.
They're all different.
Yeah.
Should
I say, do you think they know what they want the running game to look like? Not necessarily the backs individually, but the running game as a whole.
I do.
Okay. So if we
I do, and I didn't want to get all football-y with Wade, but when he starts talking about athleticism, I think pullers.
Yeah, we're talking
I
pullers.
think pin downs, and I think screen game.
Yeah.
Right now, and he said something I thought was interesting. He's like, you certainly want to be big, you want to be stout enough to handle the Big Ten. But I do think they have a good idea in terms of defensive line size and types that they'll see. Like, they have a lot of data on the types of fronts that they'll be seeing.
So if
I'll be curious to see, how that looks.
If we went through just about every position group there and we think they know what they want it to look like at all those places, then you give yourself a chance to have a good eval.
You got a chance
to have. Yeah, you give yourself a shot.
I think Addison would. I think I clearly know what they want to. Yeah.
If you don't know what you want it to look like, or it's pretty muddled, then you don't even have a shot.
I mean, I just said Caleb said 5 defensive back coaches, and we're talking about development.
Yeah,
it's disingenuous.
Yeah.
And I'm not to say there's reasons for that, but you can't have an intellectually honest conversation and not talk about that.
He was recruited by one guy. He had one guy that was here for like 2 weeks.
I'm not just him. I'm just saying, like, look at a guy like Deshaun Singleton.
No, absolutely. But I mean, that anybody that's in that group, that same age range as Caleb, has the exact same experience, right?
Yeah.
Where you have just guys coming in and out. And if you can have some consistency there, that's why I asked the question about continuity versus fit in terms of the coaching staff, right? Because there is value to continuity, but only if it's the right fit. And so I think that's really the thing. The last thing I wanted to say that I kind of got lost on.
We forgot about Bullock too.
Oh, Bullock's a great example. That kind of got lost on when we were talking about recruiting rankings and things like that. And this is just sort of
nobody thought Bullock was any good, right?
Right. And we're like, why do we have to play that guy? That's the best guy we have there.
Yeah.
We heard that, right?
Yeah.
The other thing that, look, with recruiting rankings, and then we can let Shane go home because it's after 10 o'clock.
Is it?
Yeah. It's
10:03. Sorry, buddy. Don't worry, you got a meal coming later in the week.
I think the gap, because we put a number next to somebody's name, right? So we think like this guy is the 13th best receiver in the country, and this guy down here is the 46th best receiver in the country. I think when we see numbers next to the name as a ranking, we think there actually is a 33 position gap between 13 and 46. Whereas
I got you.
Like, we're talking about, like, they kind of have to slot them somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think even the guys on these sites will tell you, like, hey, a mid 4-star and a high 3-star, there's not a lot of difference there.
Yeah.
Right? We're going off of sort of limited, incomplete information. We're going off of, okay, has one of our national guys seen this guy in person? Have they been to the camps? Did they get their measurements?
And keep in mind, this whole last banter started because it's not just because you were throwing around development, but I hear this position of, well, can we be a developmental? Like people throw that word around, and I think we just need this, like, to get our arms around, like what it is.
What does that mean? What does it look like?
Because sometimes we use it as an indictment, and I'm not so sure it is. Or when we, the other way, when we want to use it to, well, such and such was a 4-star or he was a 5-star, we use it to set an expectation level. And I'm like, careful.
Yeah.
This you just have to be careful.
That's part of the reason I wanted to throw that recruiting things ranking in there at the end, because I do think, just because you got that extra star next to your name, you may not be that different than the guy 40 spots below you.
Yeah. But I'd say it just the other way. I told you, like, this, the funny story is like we make it seem like Coach Osborne just polished turds. That's not true.
No, you've got a lot of good players.
He had a lot of good players.
And the guys that we didn't necessarily think were good players coming in, guess what? We knew exactly what it was supposed to look like.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
a
like,
lot of good players.
It goes both ways.
Yeah, Tommy Frazier wasn't a walk-on, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, Terrell Williams is pretty good.
Yeah.
Mike Miller's pretty good.
A lot of those guys stuck in the NFL for a really long time.
And I get it. Jason Peter came in at 250, but he's pretty good.
He also knew exactly what he wanted it to look like.
Yeah,
and what it needed to look like, which is the other part of that equation.
Now, conversely, there are the Jim Scows of the world where it's like,
sure, doesn't work for everybody.
Wow, that's pretty good development. That dude's an NFL player. I don't know if I saw that coming when he came to campus at Lincoln. So I'm just, we use it to shape the narrative on what we want to say.
What was old boy walk on, had the crazy testing numbers, Western Nebraska, Phelan Sanford.
Yeah.
That's a guy where you're like, I don't know that when he came into the program, we thought he might get undrafted free agent deal or anything like that. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, that guy's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, do we count him? Does that count as development or no?
No, I listen, man.
Does that one count or no? We're not counting that one?
I get it.
All right. That's the show for today. We're going to be back tomorrow. We'll get Luke Fox at some point here to kind of catch up on the NHL
You said he was
playoffs.
driving, right, Shano?
Yeah.
He wasn't sure about the StreamYard while he was driving. So we'll
go Canadiens.
Got that Game 7 win.
As called.
OT.
On the road.
Road Warriors. We'll see if I get my prediction right on Cleveland.
They're going to dust off the old cobwebs, Shane. Abs and Canes.
I know, right?
A little dusty.
The Abs still don't play till tomorrow.
Yeah. It's been a hot minute. Jeez. I don't like having that much
The
time
Canes
off.
are even worse.
Oh, I know. They're got to be like, damn.
I don't like the amount of time Nebraska baseball has off, if I'm being honest.
I get it. Which, by the way, have we? Yeah, we just had first pitch. Is it 10 or 10:30? Michigan State goes this morning, don't they?
Oh, speaking of Big Ten baseball,
we didn't talk the Big Ten tournament today. We don't care about till Friday, but
we'll talk a little bit tomorrow after we got some games under our belt. But speaking of the Big Ten tournament, if you we're going to do a little deal for you guys over the next 3 days. If you want free tickets to the Big Ten baseball tournament, either you can enter 2 ways. Either join the Patreon, Hurrdat Sports VIP Club. Anybody
you're giving away $5 tickets?
No, the tickets are worth more than that. But
I'm just saying to join the Patreon.
Yeah. So if you join the Patreon, it's $5 a month. Anybody that joins over the next 3 days will be entered in to win tickets to the Big Ten baseball tournament. We've got 5 total pairs to give away. And if you join the Patreon, you will have a chance to go today, tomorrow, or Thursday. We're not sure what our tickets look like for the weekend yet, so stay tuned there. We might be doing some additional giveaways.
Yeah, Michigan State gets us started. Illinois, Iowa is at 1. Rutgers and Michigan is at 5:00. That your late game tonight, this ought to be a doozy. Soft tossing Ohio State Buckeyes hosting your Damon Williams Washington Huskies.
I don't think Damon's on the baseball team.
Just giving you the rundown today.
So yeah, join the Patreon.
Go see Sparty this morning.
And we'll see if we can win some tickets, give some tickets away to the Big Ten baseball tournament. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla. It's Hurrdat Sports Live. We'll be back tomorrow.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.